What's up, film fam, and welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name's Dion.
And my name's Scott.
And today we're talking about the highly anticipated summer blockbuster, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And if you're new to the show, every week we dive into a different film conversation. We share some behind-the-scenes facts, listener takes, and at the end of the episode, we have our key moments. We award our key moments from during our award show called the Filmies. So stay tuned for that. But before we get to that, Scott, I need to know, what were your overall thoughts after watching Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning?
I really liked it.
Okay.
I thought for what it is, it's like this is just a fun action movie, right? Like I'm not going in expecting thought-provoking commentary or even a bunch of character development or anything. I'm just looking to have some cool twists, maybe see Tom Cruise almost die a few times, and that's what I got. I thought I really liked it. I thought it was a little long. This is like 2 hours and it's almost 3 hours. This movie.
Yeah, I think it's the longest in the franchise.
Yeah, there were a few points that I think they could have trimmed down, but overall, I liked it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I feel the exact same way. Like, I really enjoyed it too. Like, I thought a lot similar to your points. Great stunts. I thought the humor was pretty good. It was fun. I got some good pops in our theater for some of the jokes. Some of the jokes are just like little like cornball dad jokes, but it's just like it doesn't ruin it for you. Kind of just like okay. But no, I feel like it really taps into like some like real life stuff. I mean, like to me, most spy movies are like so out of the realm that it feels like it's fantasy. But like I think what they did was just really well done. Like it kind of taps into like a similar like culture feeling that like a movie from the 90s actually tapped in. I'm kind of teasing something for later on like what I want to talk about. But
well, I mean, Mission Impossible 1 came out in the 90s, so is that what
it's not that one. No, it's not that one. But before we get to that, I don't know about you, but I kind of want to hear from the family.
The family, the film family?
The film fam. I kind of want to hear from the family.
All right. Well, I think we should get into our family meeting then.
We should get in the family meeting.
I don't have friends. I got family.
God damn, this is tough. we got the Filmies intro. We got our like the podcast intro and outro. Obviously, this one slaps.
Tough.
Welcome to the family meeting. This is where we have the listeners, the film family, join in on the conversation. So this week on our Instagram story, I asked the question: do you think this will really be the last Mission Impossible movie? It's called The Final Reckoning, and like Tom Cruise, I saw on the red carpet. They asked him a bunch of times, and he didn't really say yes or no, but he was like, "It's called The Final Reckoning." So I guess he was kind of leaning toward yes. The film family was 50-50 on it.
Okay, yeah.
What do you think though? Now that you've seen it now.
Yeah. So. I don't know. Like these movies definitely turned into the like I remember I mentioned it like because we did it previously. We did the original Mission Impossible episode, and I mentioned how they moved away from like the number titles. And they just kind of have it like Mission Impossible, then whatever the catchy tag is or whatever. And this one, it was Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is kind of funny. They went Dead Reckoning Part 1, and they didn't go Dead Reckoning Part 2. They just the first one's still called Part 1. If you go back, like they didn't maybe they should have changed it, been like Dead, but whatever. They kind of went the James Bond route in that sense, and it made me think. I'm like, are they going for like a James Bond thing? Like, do they want to keep continuing this with a new Ethan Hunt? I don't know if people would like that. I don't know if it has that James Bond effect where they're comfortable with just like we're just gonna keep making different Ethan Hunts.
Yeah.
Or if because Tom said he wants to live to 100 until 100. So
yeah,
I mean, technically,
make movies till he's 100.
Exactly. So technically, you could still keep doing this, but after a while, I don't know if his life won't last that long if he keeps doing these movies as he ages. The stunts are getting wild. What about you though? Do you think this is the final?
Well, no, I don't think it is. I mean, especially based on the end of the movie. Oh, we didn't also say just spoiler warning. We're gonna spoil this movie, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it first. But so yeah, at the end of this movie, like he has the entity, right?
Yeah,
and that feels like there's something there. Like that doesn't feel like nothing is gonna happen. I guess maybe he just destroys it or something. I don't know. But I also heard him talk like Tom Cruise talk about. How he wanted like Glenn Powell to take over for him.
Yeah, he showed a lot of love to him.
Yeah, and they were on Top Gun Maverick together, and apparently on that set he was like kind of asking him like if he wanted to. I don't think he'd be Ethan Hunt. I think that he'd be a different character.
Agent, different agent.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
maybe you'd have Tom Cruise come in and like, you know, do some cameos and stuff. But like, I don't know. I don't see it being the end. Like it, but I also could. I don't know. I'm torn because it also felt kind of final. Like
Yeah.
just the way the movie went. Like there was a lot of fan service, a lot of callbacks. Like
Yeah.
Luther had his moment, and like
No, for
you know,
sure.
like so. I it could be a nice wrap up, a nice send off to the franchise, but I don't think it is.
Yeah. No, it the way it ended, it wasn't very much like, oh, like they teased something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like there's something there. Like I feel like they ended it. It's weird to say that they ended it open ended, but also closed at the same time.
That's what I mean.
Like
Yeah,
it's a very good ending when you think about it. The fact that they did that where it's just like, okay, I'm satisfied. Like this feels like it feels final, but also there's like a little part, there's something there that they could build
exactly.
off of. So I think it's
I think they maybe did that on purpose, like
yeah,
for themselves, because maybe they're not sure. Like maybe they're like, we'll see what people
how
think
this
of
one
it.
does.
Yeah, we'll see how it does and like what Tom wants to do and where everybody's at, you know. So if they want to make another one, they definitely can.
Yeah.
But if they want this to be the end, then I think people would be okay with it. Like I don't know, there was that emotion kind of had that emotion of being quite final.
Yeah.
Like
No,
there like
true.
the Luther talking at the end while Ethan's hobbling around and then
Yeah.
the team comes together. Like it felt final and not. So I don't know. You're right. They did a good job of ending this in
No,
that
for sure.
sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's in Tom's sense, I'm like, bro, if you want to keep acting, because I know he's got interest in other projects too. I'm like, these
Hmm.
Mission Impossible movies take so much of your life. These Mission Impossible movies are like his James Cameron's avatars. It's like your whole life
Yeah.
is wrapped around these movies. It's like it's just your 9 to 5 for the next like five years. It's just like, which I'm honestly, he puts so much effort into all his movies now that like any movie that he does going forward, it's gonna be like a 2 year project every single time, probably. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't make quick movies. He's like completely against that. But I don't know. I kind of want him to stop just because I want to see him do other things. Like I want to see what this guy's capable of. Well, I'm
Well,
not
that's
just
what I
capable,
so
like he's a young buck or
yeah.
something. I want to see what this young buck can do in Hollywood, dude.
Hey, of course he is a young buck. He's gonna go to 100, man. He's
Yeah.
still got 40 years left to go.
No, that's true.
But so yeah, I mean like the Glenn Powell route could be something, you know, if
Yeah.
he's the Hunter Ethanoid or something, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I
They
don't
flip his
know.
name or but and then Tom comes in, he's like in a mentor role for a movie or two and then just has a couple cameos or I don't know, but I could see this still going a long time because there's still a lot of meat on the bone. Like
Oh
for
yeah.
again, for what it is, just a fun action movie, all you have to do creatively is come up with interesting stunts and I'm saying all you have to do like it's not that hard
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
you know
I know what you mean, though.
but
Yeah,
you got to come up with interesting stunts and then you got to come up with a decent enough plot
yeah. Mhm.
to get to these set pieces in a way that makes sense and have a couple like twists and like you know characters that turn on each other and
Yeah,
pull some masks and stuff like that to keep your audience engaged enough to get to those set pieces. So it seems like again generally speaking
yeah,
simple enough but like I could see these movies going on a long time because I also see it kind of like the fast movies that are going on forever. Like
yeah,
you know you have Ethan Hunt, the leader of the group, and he's not going to give up on his team. He'd rather sacrifice the mission rather than let down someone on his team. And you have the whole group element. I don't know, it feels very Fast and Furious as well, so I could see it going in that direction. I mean it
yeah.
already
That's
is
true.
as 8 movies.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's our weekly Fast and Furious reference. I mean, it's in our one of our intros for the family meeting. So like, there's always going to be a
Yeah,
Fast and
you're
Furious.
right. Yeah,
But I feel
there you
like
go.
that's like if someone want to do a drinking game, drink every time we we mention Fast and Furious. I think it's every episode. It
I
just
mean, there's so many movies that are so iconic. Like you could tie them
yeah,
into so many things.
no, 100%. But I want to give, since we're still like in the family meeting, speak about family, I want to shout out post credits Dean. First of all, fire. That's a fire ass name.
That is, yeah,
When
that's
when I
pretty dope.
saw his IG handle, I'm like post credits Dean. I'm like, you imagine we were the post credits podcast. That's kind of a
Mm,
hard name. I like the film room. We're not changing the name. And I
yeah.
looked at the keyboard actually like TR or TFR. It's all right beside each other. the Film Room Podcast. If we, that's our thing. Boom. Yeah, looking at it, right? Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. You want to search us up? We got to figure that out. So people, all they did type in 3 letters, and then we come up. We got to figure that
TFR.
out.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah,
all they're all.
it's
Yeah.
right there. So it's
That was
perfect.
that was the plan when we came
That
up with
was
the
the
name.
plan. Yeah, 100%. I just wanted to call you out because that was your idea. That's why you came up with the name, and I was like, "That's a good idea, Scott."
Thanks.
But this the similar story to you, because it was when you went saw Sinners, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is I sometimes I do my notes differently. Sometimes when I go into the theater, I actually won't take any notes until I go back out. I was testing it out. I was like, how do I want to do this? Do I want to go in? I'm gonna watch it, and when I step out, I'm gonna write down everything that I remember. Because then I'm like, oh, those are things that stuck with me.
Right.
Versus if I just write, then I have all these notes, and I'm like, oh, this is too many notes. But this time I was like, you know what? Each time I'm always trying something different. So I went in there. At first, I was thinking I'm gonna do that again. I was like, you know what? I want to write some stuff down. I started writing some stuff down. Movie ended, and Dean right beside me was like, hey man, like I saw you taking notes. Like, do you do reviews or something? And I'm like, yeah, I do a podcast. And then we just started chatting. He was telling me how like he's actually the last of his friends to watch the Mission Impossible movie because apparently in India it came out like a week ago. And I was like, damn, really? They did Canada like that? I was like,
Oh,
but
wow.
all right, whatever. I was like, and then he asked, we were just talking about movies for a bit. And he was talking about how he liked the movie. He didn't love it. And I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later because he gave us a little bit of his review. And then he asked me if I saw Sinners. And I was like, yeah, of course, dog. And he's just like, and then he was like, yeah, I've been telling everybody they have to go see it. And I'm like, okay, this guy knows what's up. He knows good movies because he was just like,
this guy knows ball.
Yeah,
This
he
guy knows
knows.
ball.
Yeah, he knows. And then we were just kind of talking about like just for like this blockbuster season that we're in. We're kind of talking about the movies we're excited to see. We were talking about F1, and then we were talking about like certain movies. I'm like, that's a streaming movie. Like I'll wait for that to come on streaming versus like I need to see that on the big screen. And like, yeah, we just kind of bonded there. I told him the IG, added him, and we got a new family member.
Hey,
Post credits
shout out
Dean.
to you, post credits Dean. Yeah, he's on Instagram, so go check out his page, at post credits Dean.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, Sinners. It was funny. I was just scrolling on TikTok and like someone was giving like a Sinners review, and it was just funny that like they started it out with okay, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I don't have a controversial opinion. Like this movie's great. Like it's so funny that like that movie, if you think that movie's bad, like I almost just feel like you're clickbaiting. Like everyone loves that movie. No, so yeah, it's a great movie. But he gave us his review. He, like you said, he didn't love it. He loved the submarine and biplane scenes, the great action set pieces. He shouted out the editing when Grace pulls the drive as the entity gets in, like the 100 milliseconds thing. That was something I noticed in the movie too. I agree with like I don't even know. It was just so quick cutting that it made it feel so fast and tense. But I don't know. It worked for it. Like I noticed that too. When it happened, it felt like she actually got it done in 100 milliseconds. Yeah. And like they really punched the point home.
No, that is a really good point. I didn't think about that, but like, I mean, I just watched the movie, so I remember. I'm like, oh yeah, that was like a really cool, just like swipe moment. Another that sparked another memory that a moment, sorry, that from the movie I really liked too. There was a specific transition that I thought was really dope. I think it was like when the president was like just talking to like the council, like talking to everybody. And like they transitioned back into Ethan, like in the water, and they just had like the water just like come across the screen, and then suddenly you were just you were just there, and I'm like, oh, that was hard. They didn't need to go that hard. Like there was no other transitions that hard in the movie. Everything was pretty simple. It was literally just like not even like a fade to black. It was just like literally just cut to the next scene. Them having the water come across the screen, and then suddenly you're in the water. I'm like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that was dope. And his last point that he said he didn't like the pacing. He said it was moving really quickly, and it kind of took the gravity away from the moments, the high pressure moments of the movie. I actually disagree with that. Okay. I think it was fast paced for sure, but to me, I think it needs to be because it's a popcorn movie, and like we don't need to sit in this and feel like the emotion and the gravity of things because we know that they're going to get the job done. Like I'm going into this movie and not thinking like, are they going to die? Like maybe there might be one or two of the team members that do die, but like, I know that they're going to succeed on the mission. I'm going to see how they're going to do it. So like, to me, the gravity almost doesn't matter because I know that they're gonna get the job done.
Yeah. No, that is a good point. And yeah, I don't know how, like, I feel like the pacing, like, it was fast paced, and we're also talking about how it was almost 3 hours. So it's
Yeah.
just like it's crazy to think that's like it was fast paced and yet it was still so I shouldn't say so long. Like, it wasn't like I was like,
No.
oh, it was a bore or anything, but it just like that the length was the runtime was longer.
Yeah. I mean, I think I actually wrote a couple little moments down that I think that could have been cut to
Yeah.
save. Like when Ethan and Grace go to the party in London,
Hmm.
and then Gabriel catches them, and they're he's tied to the chair and he bites down on the tooth, and they have that fight and everything. That whole thing could have been cut. What did
Hmm.
that do? Like
Yeah.
I think that fight with Grace and Ethan, like the team ends up together after that, and they don't really gain any knowledge from that scene. Like it doesn't move the plot forward. The only thing that it does is kind of that's when he finds the booth or whatever, when he steps in and puts the mask on and the entity
Hmm.
talks to him. But I feel like
Yeah.
you could have done that in a different way. You didn't even need an action scene there. I think that could have been cut easily.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, that scene actually made me kind of nervous for how the rest of the movie was going, and it ended up delivering. But the fact that they didn't show Ethan fight those dudes, I'm like, damn, is he that
Right.
old that he's not gonna have on any on scene fights? I was like, come on, don't make this all off screen stuff. And then later on, we do see him get like a dope fight, but that scene actually got me worried. So like, I
Yeah.
agree, they could have took that scene out because that scene kind of made me like, oh no, like, can he not fight?
I think they cut it. I think they not cut it out, but I think they didn't show it. They had it off
Because
screen
it was so
because
brutal.
exactly, yeah. Like this is movie I think is PG.
Yeah,
Um and he killed both of those dudes. One of them was like they were both on top of each other. One of them was like under a shelf. One of them
yeah. Oh
had
man,
like I don't even remember exactly what happened, but it would have been
gnarly.
pretty brutal. So they
Yeah,
they would have had to either do it in a way that wouldn't look as cool because it's PG, or they would have had to up the rating, and I'm sure they didn't want to do that
yeah.
because at the end of the day, like this, they want kids to see this. Like
Yeah.
kids would
No, for
love this
sure.
movie. It's very
Oh, yeah.
simple. The it's just exposition dumps and action. So like they're telling you exactly what everyone's doing, where they're going, why they're doing it. You don't have to figure any of that out on your own, and then you could just be wowed by this dope action.
Yeah. No, 100%. That's a good point. Was that his last,
Yeah,
or you
that's
have
that's the last
or
of
last?
the last point that
Okay.
I wanted to mention, anyways.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that wraps up our
Wraps
family
up the
meeting.
family
Unless you
meeting.
had do you have anything else from the family or that I didn't
Nope,
know about?
that's
Okay,
all the
okay.
family got for us this week.
Okay. All right. As always, thanks again. If you want to be part of the meeting, check us on Instagram. I'll plug more of our socials at the end. But I'm curious, what were your thoughts as we're talking about like the villains and everything? What were your feelings in regards to the main villain being the entity? Like, as we kind of got it from like the last movie and then tied into this, but that was like the big bad
Yeah.
of the. What was your feelings?
I like it. I think it's an interesting concept. I mean, it's not nothing that's ever something that's never been done before, like an all-knowing kind of robot, I guess. Like, we had that in like the X-Men with what's his name?
Which X Men?
Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Like with
Yeah.
Apocalypse, like he kind of, plugged himself in and he learned everything about the world and
Hmm.
wanted to destroy it. It's the same idea, but
Yeah.
it was cool that he being the entity
Okay. Yeah. You put a
show,
gender
show
on him, huh?
they yeah I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
it
I guess a
it
man. They gave it a man voice, kind of. So
Yeah,
I
that's
guess that's
true.
why.
That's
Yeah.
true. That it like chose Gabriel, like had a person actually kind of like working for it,
Mhm.
kind of like doing. I guess like it doesn't have a physical body, so it has to have someone that kind of does these things. But
Yeah.
I and then Gabriel kind of like turns on it at the end, right? Or thinks he's turning on it, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea to get an all-knowing power. It makes the stakes go through the roof because it just because like he's threatening or it's threatening total global Armageddon.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't get any higher stakes than that. So I think it's interesting, and also then you don't know who to trust at any turn. I liked right at the start that it was like doctoring pictures and creating like uncertainty and then
Yeah.
martial law. Like I kind of wanted more of that, to be honest. I was like when we started with that,
Mhm.
I was like, oh shit. Like
Yeah.
everyone's fighting with each other. Nobody knows who to trust because like they have political figures that are not shaking hands but pointing guns at each other, even though that's not actually what happened. Like I thought maybe we would get a little more of like anarchy
Mhm.
with the public, but we didn't really see any of that ever again. It's kind of just our team going through their fight. But I like the
Yeah.
AI villain.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, and I wonder if they decided to have it like at a clear point because they didn't want it to be like overwhelmingly be the entity over Gabriel. Like I think if they had the entity do more things, then they kind of would have had the balance would have been way more in the entity's favor, and they still wanted Gabriel to have some leverage as a villain. Because otherwise, if
Hmm.
the entity is doing all the work, Gabriel just kind of seems like a lackey.
Yeah, true.
Versus like, and there's another element I really like too is just the fact that they realized the limitations of AI. I didn't think they were gonna get there. Where like I think it was Ethan that mentioned how it's just like the entity is just basically going off what it expects us to do. Like we have to do things. It takes all the things that all of us have done in the past and is predicting what we would do. So like we have to think like how we normally wouldn't. So think
Yeah,
about what you usually do and do the opposite because that will mess with the entity's plan because the entity is expecting everyone to act specifically how they usually do. I
yeah.
thought that was interesting, just element that like when he said it, I didn't think anyone was gonna go there with it.
That is an interesting idea, but at the same time, I feel like the movie kind of goes back on itself in that sense where like
Hmm.
who doesn't do what they normally do? Like,
Yeah.
Luther creates this algorithm, like he's the tech guy. This is what he's going to do to go
Hmm.
against the enemy. Ethan is just jumping out of helicopters into water, like doing the most ridiculous stuff, like with no regard for his own life. That's what he's always done. You
Hmm.
have Benji, that's getting the team together and just kind of your guy that gets the job done. He's kind of everybody kind of stays on brand. So like you're right, they
Yeah.
say it like you got to do what you wouldn't do, but then they do what they would do. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's true. And you know that it also like just speaking of the entity, like I kind of that's the thing I was teasing or where I was saying how it kind of taps into like something like a cultural like I don't say phenomenon, but just like what's kind of going on with the culture. What you're saying is like usually when you watch like a spy movie, like I was saying, it's so like out of our realm that it almost feels like fantasy. But like the whole like the concept of like this AI villain, and I compare it to like the Matrix. I'm not saying this movie's as good as the Matrix before someone throws a table or anything. This movie's not as good as the Matrix. But the Matrix, that movie came out in 1999, right? And it was all about like spoilers if you haven't seen the Matrix. So it's all about like robots taking over, kind of like an AI thing. And it's right in 1999. So like everyone was kind of had that fear of like the 2000s, like the Y2K thing. So there was like a fear with computers and tech and the boom of the internet and all that stuff. So it's kind of tapping into that. And now we're kind of similar. Like it's not as extreme. Like we don't have like a date where people are like, oh, when it hits 2026, like AI is gonna take. There's not that fear, but like there still is a thing of like, oh, like deep fakes and all these
Hmm.
things, and like, oh, is that a real per thing or is that AI? Like, oh, is that did someone actually say like the voice? Like that things are actually happening. Like, people are taking people's voices. And it's like, oh, I thought that was my son, so I transferred him money. Like
Yeah.
it's actually like a real thing. People are worried about like, oh, AI is taking this job. Like, so I thought it was interesting that they went that route in like something that's somewhat of a popcorn movie, which like you turn off your brain and it doesn't get that deep with it. But I thought it was interesting that they kind of used a villain and a concept that's actually kind of what's going on. Like
Yeah.
it's nothing like out of this world where it's like, oh, like we created this entity thing that can make a man like fly or something, where it's just like, oh, it's not like that crazy.
Hmm.
It's like, no, this is actually like an AI, like ChatGPT and all these things are getting pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, you see them. Yeah, you see online all the time. You see them like videos of people talking, but they say the most ridiculous stuff that they would never say, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's AI, but it
Yeah.
sounds super real. So like,
No,
100%,
exactly.
we could get to this point. I'm sure there's some kind of fail safes and coding and stuff
Oh,
like
for
that
sure.
to
Yeah.
avoid this, but like in this movie, it becomes self-aware and then it like rewrites its own code. I don't know if that's actually possible. I don't know nothing about coding. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I
guessing
don't
and I'm hoping that's not possible.
yeah, I don't
But
think it is.
yeah,
Yeah, my main thing was mostly just the concept of people not knowing what's real. Like
right.
that to me,
Yeah.
the entity thing does it. I don't think it's possible. And just based off what like I know about simple like AI and stuff, like AI is just a tool, and you need a human. You need a Gabriel to tell it to like do this, do this, do this. Like there's no as of that I know of. Maybe the military has. There's no AI that thinks for itself.
Right.
It just takes instructions. It's like a calculator. It's like do this for me, and then it'll do it for you.
Right.
But like to me, in the sense of like the thing that they played with of like, which again you said they didn't, which I agree, they didn't really tap too much into it, like the fake stuff. Like no, they didn't tap into the deep fakes, the voice changer, like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Like which it would have been interesting. Maybe they could have.
Well, they
Like,
do, I guess, with this is in the last movie, but when the
oh, the
entity
phone
gets on
call.
the comms with Ethan
Mhm.
and is talking like Benji and
Yeah, that's
tells him, you know,
true. That is
go
true.
over here, and like leads him to the wrong
That's
place.
true.
They didn't do it in this movie, but they have done it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, the AI. It's a cool villain. It's a cool
Yeah,
villain.
no, I agree. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. Uh, that's also another thing too, where I was like, it almost does feel final because like, how do you get higher than an AI that's
Yeah,
gonna
nuclear Armageddon.
nuclear? Yeah, exactly. I don't know how you get higher than that.
I don't. You don't. You can't.
Yeah,
Like you just don't. But you would just do something different. You know what I mean? Like it would be. It doesn't necessarily have to be like if there's another Mission Impossible, and it's a person that's trying to, you know, get this weapon that they can, you know, a nuclear bomb. Even if it's one nuclear bomb, they could wipe out a whole city with, or a whole country with, or something like
yeah,
that. Like a double nuclear bomb. Are we going to be like, oh well, in the last movie they were going to take out the whole world, so I don't care about this? No, it's still like you
yeah.
just
No,
do
you're
something
right.
different.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe there's gonna be like a collab with the Transformers or something. Optimus
Ooh,
Prime or yeah, I don't know.
that'd be sick.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how crazy they'd get with it. But I mean, we were talking about like the entity, and I also like mentioned Gabriel too. I was kind of curious what you thought of like Gabriel, just like in this film versus and like the kind of like the subplot they built with him and Ethan from the last movie. Like, did you like that element?
um, Not really. I
Hmm.
guess I think he's I mean, one of the things I didn't like as much about this movie, and it's kind of like just the Mission Impossible thing, is that there's always like a bomb to disarm. There's
Hmm.
always a countdown. So, like even the countdown that they had in like the military bunker, where it
Hmm.
was like, okay, we have 72 hours before the entity takes control of all of the nuclear stations around the world. Like, first of all, how do you know that it's going to take that long? Like that doesn't make sense. And then like you know that in 72 hours it's going to hack into our defenses. Like wouldn't you then be able to, if you know that that's when it's going to happen, you could work with anyways. But my point is that like Gabriel kind of at the end when he unveils the bomb and everything like that, and then he just leaves. Like he doesn't even have the pod Kova that he's like, that's what he's there for. He does say
Yeah.
he's like, as long as I have this, the like,
Pod-
Luther's algorithm, I can't remember what
yeah.
they called it, the Podkova will come to me. But like,
Yeah.
then why did you even go to the cave there and then just leave? Like, what was the point of that? So, Gabriel in this movie wasn't as good, I think, in as he was in the last movie.
That was my exact point too. Like I liked him a lot in the last movie. He seemed
Yeah,
more like a threat, and I was like, okay, this is the guy. And now when the entity seemed more like a side character, it
yeah,
very much felt like he was empowering. He's like, the entity is my tool. And then in this movie, it felt very much more like the entity is the entity. Sorry, is the big bad of this movie, and Gabriel is more like the like this little sidekick.
yeah, 100%, hundred
Yeah,
percent.
and like I don't know. I just feel like yeah no yeah just like
I
yeah just in well go
I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing though, like
yeah.
for the movie, because like we said, we got Gabriel in the last movie, and this one is a step up. The entity is going to take over all the nuclear bombs, right? That's
Hmm.
up in the stakes, up in the pressure. Like that is he is the villain. Like it
Yeah.
at the like Gabriel is one man. The
Mhm.
entity can control all computers and like everything around the world. He's way stronger than anything one man can do. So
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for the movie, but it just means that Gabriel's character isn't as cool.
Yeah. No, that's true. And also the entity got that we got a couple, like there was the intro part, but that moment when Ethan went in to like the little chamber thing, that was sick. Like and it was just like slow, like the little I don't know what the little design was as it was slowly getting bigger and it was kind of just like talking to Ethan. Like
Oh, I know what you're
yeah,
talking
like
about. Yeah,
that.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is especially cuz like seeing an IMAX everything just hearing the entity's voice and like
Right.
all the little flash, I'm like, "Damn, this is intense."
Yeah. And then it's calling back to all the previous things that he's done in previous movies and
Yeah.
everything. So that was one thing that like another reason this movie felt final was all the like the fan service,
Yeah.
like callbacks. Like I feel like that was like, okay, if you guys have been on this ride, you've watched all these movies, here's the final one. We're gonna call you back. Remember when he did this? Remember when we did that? Like how cool everything was, and like
Mhm.
this is the final wrap up to it. So that's what felt kind of final.
Yeah.
But we
No,
talked
true.
about how it also couldn't be. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's a good point. And like, even to go with that, I thought that he was gonna have more of like a PTSD like effect like in the movie, like
Mm,
because like immediately he came on, he's like, "Is this real? Like, is this real?" He was kind of shook in that moment. I don't know if I thought during the movie, and I don't think it was bad that it didn't happen. That he'd get like these flashes, like these feel like this fear.
yeah,
It's Ethan Hunt, so he's never really shook. He was
right.
scared in that moment, but I thought that was gonna stick with him. I thought we were gonna see him a little bit more vulnerable because he was like actually kind of worried because he's usually calm and collected, but which it doesn't ruin it for me that he wasn't. But I thought just the way he was acting when he came out, I was like, oh damn, we usually don't see Ethan like this. Like
Yeah.
he's had his moments obviously when he's sad and stuff, but like he actually looked shook. Like oh, I don't know if I can beat him kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it was kind of like he was coming up with like a plan basically of how to beat him
yeah,
in that moment, and he quickly wrote down Sonus or whatever it was
hmm
to give to Benji. And then this confused me a little bit, but I was also like, it's a movie, whatever. Maybe it happened off screen. But Ethan then leaves, turns himself in, right?
hmm
And so he's like, okay, I got to talk to the president so I can get control of this aircraft carrier and get on a submarine and blah, blah, blah. And then Benji has the rest of the team and they're flying to this island.
hmm
And Benji's, uh, well, they're both explaining the plan.
yeah,
That was actually really cool. Benji's explaining the plan to the team in the plane, and Ethan's explaining to the captain of the aircraft character, and they're kind of cutting between. I thought that was actually
yeah.
pretty cool.
No, I thought
But
it
I
was
was
good
like,
too.
how does Benji know this whole plan?
Yeah.
When did Ethan tell him this whole plan? He wrote Sonus on a piece
Yeah.
of paper, and he just got everything for that. He was like, okay, he's gonna get to the thing. We'll have to have a decompression chamber and all this. I was like, maybe there was a phone call off screen or something, but
Yeah,
that
but
kind
that
of
would have been
confused me a little
yeah,
bit.
but that would have been risky though. Anything like
Yeah,
digital, anything unless he called him on a payphone or something.
yeah,
But it would have been
exactly.
off screen, I guess. Yeah,
He
they
sent him
they
a
cut.
he sent him a pigeon.
Yeah, yeah,
A
they cut
carrier
that
pigeon.
scene. They're like, we don't want to touch 3 hours. Let's just take out that phone call. Nobody's gonna question it. Maybe some dude on a podcast will, but
Exactly. I am. I'm gonna question
but
it.
we'll be okay with that. I mean, you mentioned it, and actually, I had another question. Like, talking about just how, like, I know you're new to this franchise. We talked about that in the last episode. So, like, I know there's not as much as a nostalgic pull for you, but what did you think of them, like, linking stuff to the past movies? Even just like with like, even they try to really link like all the movies. Like, even like talking about Gabriel, they kind of made that subplot, and then just kind of all the like the flashback elements. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curious because you again like you're just watching this, so there is no nostalgia pulse. I don't know. I'm kind of curious what that felt like for you when you were seeing that.
Well, there was even some from movies that I haven't seen
Oh, okay,
because
yeah,
I've seen 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I didn't
okay.
see. No, this is 8, right?
This is
So I've
8.
seen 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. So I haven't seen
Oh, so you saw
3, 4, 5.
Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and then this one,
Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
1, 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
So I haven't seen the third, and then Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol. But
okay.
anyway, so because like when we find out the rabbit's foot, right? There's a callback like
Yeah.
the rabbit's foot. That was actually the start of the source code for the entity, and like
hmm
I knew what the rabbit's foot. I know what the rabbit's foot is. Like
Yeah.
um, and I've heard a lot about that movie. I heard that that's a good one, and I want to watch the rest of them.
Yeah. And they're
Because
still
I've seen them all.
enjoyable, even if
Yeah.
even after yeah, you'd still enjoy them, I think.
So, but again, the callbacks, I liked the callback to the first. Like we see freaking
Yeah.
William Dunlow. That like when that guy
Yeah.
pulled up, I was like, hell yeah, that's the I recognize him right away. Did you
Yeah, yeah.
recognize him
No,
right away?
same. Yeah. It made me laugh too because the little moment that we had in our last podcast where we talked about him, we're like, and then they said that they're gonna send him off. And then when we see him, like, yo, what?
This is
I
amazing.
I like I would just watch that movie. Cause like if we didn't do it for the pod, I don't know, I probably wouldn't have rewatched it because like I already seen it. And like I've seen all of them except I think Ghost Protocol. I can't remember which one it is I haven't seen, but I've all seen them all at once. So I was like, I still kind of have it in there. But watching that fresh and then seeing him pop in that moment, I'm just like, oh my god, this
Yeah, I
guy.
was so lit. I was so lit to see that guy. I was like, that's awesome that they have him in here. And you're right. It's funny because literally in the first one,
Mhm.
Kittredge sends him. He's like, I want him. I will say though, because we just watched it. He
Yeah.
sends him to Alaska. He
Mhm.
says, so I want him manning a tower in Alaska before the end of the day. So I don't know. Maybe they ended up sending him somewhere because he wasn't in Alaska,
Yeah,
but
that's
he's
true.
still in this snowy island. But
Yeah.
that was hilarious and almost I this was almost my, not almost, but I thought about giving it my lazy award, and it's
To
maybe it's
to
yours.
who?
It would actually be to Kittredge
Okay.
for sending him out there, because then that is what causes, I mean, he obviously can't see in the future,
Yeah.
but like this is what causes Ethan to be able to find the submarine and destroy the pod that he wants.
No, that's true. No, that's a good point.
That actually leads me to a question I had. Like,
Yeah.
is Kittredge a villain? Do you think he's a villain?
That's a good question. To me, it becomes one of those things where it's like it's those characters that you don't like, but like they kind of make sense at the same time. Like Ethan's kind of reckless. Like I think of like when I compare it in like superhero movies, when like there's the guy, like the leader, whatever, that's like, oh man, like I hate Spider-Man or like I hate Superman or whatever it is because they're destroying the city. I'm like, you are right. Whenever they have
Yeah.
these big battles, they are destroying the city. They are saving people, but like there's also all the collateral damage, which is like if you just weren't that person, you'd be like, yo, this guy destroyed that building, destroyed that building. There's probably some people in there that died. We're not going to talk about that,
Mm-hmm.
but he definitely
Yeah.
probably got some people killed. So I understand his sense of like he doesn't like Ethan because he's so reckless and doing all these things. So he's not a bad guy in that sense, but like you just don't like him because Ethan is our guy.
You're right, but my only other kind
Like
of argument,
pushback, yeah.
well, it's not even a pushback, but my argument to say that why he maybe is a villain is that he wants to control. Like Ethan's like, no, I want to destroy the entity. It's too strong for any one government, any one person to control.
Yeah.
Kittredge is like, no, I want to control this.
Mm.
So that's
I
kind of villain. He's not saying I want to control this so I can take over the world,
yeah.
but I don't know. It's still kind of villainy.
I guess his thought process is that like as we see like Russia and probably every other country is trying to get the entity too. So he's
Yeah.
probably thinking like I want to hold on to this because I don't want to try because and like I'm saying because he thinks Ethan's reckless. He's like not saying he would, but he's like I don't know, maybe they'll be able to steal it from you. I know if I have it, at least I know it's safe. I'm not gonna do some crazy stuff. I'm not gonna use the entity to bomb other country or anything. But I don't know what those other countries are gonna do. So I'd rather just have it and I want to control it.
Yeah, but
And
if you destroy it, then that's not an issue.
that's true. No, you're right. You know how they always do.
Yeah.
You know how they always do. They want the best weapon. That's what it is at the
Yeah,
end of the
no,
day.
that's what I mean. But that's villain shit.
Yeah, no. There'd be a great double feature. Watch Oppenheimer and then watch this. It's a
Yeah.
it shows you how far people are just worried about having an atomic bomb and then go jump all the way into AI controlling the atomic bombs. It's just,
All of the atomic bombs.
yeah, exactly.
Not just one. Every
Yeah.
single one. Yeah.
It's a long double feature. You got 6 hours ahead of you if you're
Oh
gonna.
fuck yeah, that's a good point.
But it'd
That
be
is a
interesting.
long
It'd
one.
be an interesting double feature.
Yeah, that's like that's a solid marathon right there.
No,
2
100%.
movies.
I think the one thing I do have to say though, even though like I respect the nostalgia pull and all those things, the amount of flashbacks to that vault scene were almost comical. They did
What scene?
the vault scene of him.
Oh
The
yes.
flashback to him doing it. They
Yeah.
showed that shit like 10 times. Where I was just like, it got to the point when it was like they showed it. They're like, oh, do you guys remember this? I'm like, yeah, I remember it. Then the second time it's like, and then do you remember this guy? Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, and do you remember how we almost caught him? Oh yeah, yeah. And by the way, do you remember the scene? Yes,
Yeah.
I remember the
And
scene.
remember when he dropped the knife?
Yeah,
Oh, and
exactly.
he still has the knife.
Bro, they almost showed the whole scene. They might as well remember when he puked too. Do you remember the rat?
Yeah, I
Hey,
remember
we
the
never got our reckoning for the rat, yo.
You're right.
That's why there's gonna be another one. We still gotta
Yeah,
get the
we
rat
still need to
reckoning.
know. Yeah, just a little throw. If you didn't listen to last episode, when the guy that's holding Ethan up in the first movie, when he's in the vault, there's that rat that comes into the vent, and he drops Ethan and catches him at the last second. Then the rat's dead. How did he kill that rat? How did he do it? Or did he kill the rat? Or did
I
he
don't-
just
I
did the
don't
rat
know,
just drop dead? Like I don't. We need to know.
Mission
That's-
Impossible Part 3, Rat Reckoning.
There you go.
That's
We
what we're
need it.
getting. That's what we're getting.
Come on, Tom. When he's 100 years old, he'll make it.
I mean, now I have a question about the team for you. So, like, Mission Impossible has always been about like Ethan and the team, and like I have a couple questions. So bear with me. So like you can answer them one at a time.
Okay.
Did you like the team that we got in this final film? And like, do you have any specific points maybe on like the relationship between Grace and like Ethan, or just as an individual, or like anything you want to say about like Paris or Luther? Like, I'm just curious to what you thought about like the team in this movie, because there's always different assembled team of characters throughout all the movies. So I'm just kind of
Yeah.
curious how you felt about the last movie. It's a part one and a part two, so like kind of how you felt about
Right.
what we got, but more so in this film.
Yeah, Grace. I like Grace as a character. Um, I will say, like, I don't know, there was always that kind of like tension. Like, are they gonna like do they like each other? Do they love each
Yeah,
other? I don't know. Like, I feel like I mean, it's a movie thing. You're always gonna have your lead guy, and then there's gonna be a love interest. Like, I'm glad that it didn't happen. Like, there was the one moment at the end when Ethan's gonna chase Gabriel to go get the algorithm, and she grabs him and pulls him in close and like says 100 blink of an eye or something. I don't know, some
yeah,
movie thing. But I thought they were gonna like kiss in that moment. I was like, don't do that. This it
yeah,
felt very forced. So I'm glad that there wasn't actually that there. But I think she's cool. Like having a cool pickpocket. She was pretty badass.
yeah,
Luther obviously is dope.
yeah,
He got his moment. R.I.P. Luther.
yeah. Oh man, yeah,
He
that's
went out like a
tough, man.
badass.
He
Did you
did
like that?
like him like dying
Just the way
or
he went out and everything.
yeah. No, I think it was a good way for him to go out. I want to say on his own terms. It wasn't really on his own terms. He just didn't fight it. He just went out like just accepting it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
I did like it. It was I felt like it was a good like emotional point of the movie. And obviously I didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like when you say did you like it? It's just like well no I didn't like it because I didn't want that to happen to him. It surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that was actually gonna happen. But
It was a self-sacrifice for
yeah.
the to save the city because it was about to be a nuclear bomb. So that was good.
Yeah, no, 100%. I thought it was funny how like they were like they kept talking with the bomb ticking. Like it got to
Yeah.
a point when they kind of accepted it, and then they was kind of having their moments. I'm like, guys, there's a there's a bomb here. Like I know you're having your moment, but like, can we get a shot of the timer again? Because I swear it's at a minute, and you guys are talking. I'm like, how long is it gonna take Ethan to run?
But this is part of their everyday 9 to 5. There's
Yeah, I
always a
know.
bomb. There's
That's
always a
true.
bomb. That's nothing,
That's
bro.
very true. No, you're
But
right.
I liked Dunlow and his wife. They were a dope addition to the team. They were awesome.
Yeah, no, that's
They
true.
were sick. Benji is Benji. I don't
Yeah,
have anything really to say about him. And then I would say Paris.
Paris. Yeah,
Paris was cool. I liked Paris. I mean, the fact that she only spoke French kind of just didn't make sense because we know we know she speaks English. Like, why are you
yeah.
doing this?
Mhm.
Um, but and then there was the light skinned dude,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Degas.
Hmm.
I'm looking at his
Yeah, I'm
credit right now.
looking. Yeah,
Degas. I don't
yeah.
even know.
Degas. I think that's how you say it. Yeah.
He didn't really do shit. I didn't like like even in the climactic point in that bunker, he's like, no, I'm gonna stay with Dunlow and his wife. Like, I can't do anything in the control room. I'll help them out here. He holds one thing
Mhm.
and that's it. Like, I thought assumed one of them was gonna die. Like, nobody died at the end. I was kind of like, I wanted someone to die. Like when
Yeah.
Benji got shot, I was like, damn, is Benji going out too?
Yeah,
Like
no, I was thinking that.
this
I was
would
like,
be the
"Yo."
full. This would be how they if they wanted the movie to end. Luther died. If Benji dies and Ethan doesn't necessarily have to die, but if Benji dies as well, then I'd be like, okay, this is the whole flip. Like the whole OG team is now gone.
Yeah.
They're going in a new direction.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I was thinking the same too. I was worried for Benji in that moment. I agree with your point about Grace too. Like I literally had the exact same thought where I was like I liked her character. Like I mentioned that I liked her as a pickpocket and I wrote too like I didn't like how they tried to ship her and Ethan. Like I don't think it was needed.
Yeah.
Especially because like the way like they've tapped into the emotional part of like Ethan had a wife and then there was another person and it's like all right Ethan like how many like how many girls you trying to run through? I thought you were heartbroken and then there's another girl here and she's like what about those
Yeah.
last two? I thought you really cared about them, which not saying you can't move on in your life, but I just felt like they addressed those other two girls, so also it kind of felt weird to address the two other girls and then have a new one
Yeah.
in here at the same time. I'm like all right, too many girls, man.
Yeah, but so that's what I mean. Like they never have their moment where they kiss or anything, but also like when they're both tied up at the start of the movie and Ethan goes and like kills those two dudes off camera. Like he's like, "No, I told you I would never let anything to happen to you." And I totally like he doesn't say that to anybody else. Like he
Yeah.
only says that to like girls that he likes. So
No, it's true.
I don't know, it's weird. Actually, I saw in an interview Haley Atwell said that in that who plays Grace in that scene she was like they did some reshoots for that scene and she was like 8.5 months pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. That's
So
wild.
I don't know if it's maybe just close-ups
Yeah, yeah.
because like she would have a big
That's
ass
what I was
belly
thinking
obviously.
too.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to remember her in every single scene. Damn. I
I'm
mean,
guessing
not
just
like
close-ups.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm trying to remember all her scenes now, but yeah, no, that's interesting. As far as Paris goes, I wish again she's kind of a side character, but I was like, I kind of wish we got more of her. Just in
Hmm.
the sense of like, I know like we got a little bit, but we just know she's like these freaking assassin, like this crazy. I just want more of her more fight scenes with her.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fair.
that's the only thing. It's just like we know they've established that she's not much of a talker.
Right.
She just wants to kill.
Yeah.
Like that was a funny scene too. It's just like it's like you ever done this? It's like I kill people. And he's like I can work with that.
Yeah.
I'm not used to saving people. I just usually kill people. I'm like that was a funny moment, but and that got a good laugh in the theater. That made me laugh because I didn't
Yeah.
expect you to say that. But yeah, I know. I just wish I got more of her fighting. That's
She got a good moment, like when they broke her out.
yeah, that was good.
That was cool. She was like in handcuffs. She kicked that dude's face in. And she was about to
Oh yeah,
kill Briggs, and they stop him from killing Briggs. And then we get the mask reveal. We only get that's the only mask reveal of the movie. I was kind
yeah,
of
that's
disappointed. I was like,
true. That is a
man,
good point. Yeah, I know.
we need the masks, dude.
That
Where are
one
the
did
masks?
surprise me though. It always gets me. I didn't think it was gonna
Every
be him
time.
on the yeah every time. Because it's just like because they've gotten better with it in the last couple like in the early ones it's like that's a dude in a mask, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
they literally had him in a mask. Now it's just like you just have another actor and then in the moment he's about to take off the mask he just takes off the mask and it's like oh okay, which is kind of
Right.
funny because it's like okay then now as he's taking the mask off and like it doesn't look as realistic as it just did 3 seconds ago, but it's fine. I don't I like that because it makes it more of a surprise versus like I just see a plastic face and a guy wouldn't he can't move his face. I'm like, okay, that dude's definitely not in a mask.
In a movie where AI can doctor anything and make you not believe anything, it's a fucking face mask that gets you every time,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I love it.
exactly.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
actually, speaking of Briggs, like the reveal that he was Jim's son, what'd you think of that?
Um yeah, I mean it was a nice little surprise, but I don't know, it wasn't like a crazy like, oh snap. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
it didn't do anything crazy for me. I thought it was interesting. I was like, oh cool. But it wasn't like I don't know about you if you
The only thing that like it that I liked about it, because you're right, for the most part, it doesn't really change anything. It's like, oh, that's
yeah.
his son. Okay, cool. Um, but the one thing I liked about it was that it kind of justifies why he hates Ethan so much.
Yeah.
Like the light skinned dude that was his partner in the last movie that flipped sides
Mhm.
after he realized, okay, Ethan's actually not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Um, and Briggs doesn't change sides. So, I was kind of like,
Why?
why?
Yeah.
Like, Ethan's not a bad guy, but if you're kind of in that mindset where you think that he framed your dad all
Mhm.
those years ago and ended up killing his mom, I don't know,
Nah, no,
what's her
Claire?
name? Claire.
Claire?
Was that his mom?
No way. She's way
She
too
was too young, eh?
I way too actually, well, I guess I don't know. Nah, I don't think that was his mom. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. But yeah, like if that's why you're pissed at this guy because you think he framed your dad, makes sense.
Yeah. No, no, that is true.
Yeah.
I liked I like Angela Bassett's character, like as like Erica as the president, but I don't know, it was just so like she had her moments, like especially with her son, she opened up. It was just like that, such that no nonsense character. Like
Hmm.
it made me think of like Viola Davis, like in freaking like Suicide Squad or whatever. It's just like
Oh yeah.
it's that just like that no nonsense, just like authoritarian character, which is just like it was cool. Yeah, it was just cool to see Angela Bassett in the movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you like that? Like they tried to give you like an emotional tie with like her and her son, like that plot of it. Like they usually
Yeah,
don't. I feel like do
that
too much.
didn't really do anything for me. I mean,
Yeah,
they're deciding between nuking like 6 different places and one of their own cities, like
yeah,
killing millions and millions of people. That's already heavy enough. I don't need
yeah.
to like, oh, but your son's also there.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't change anything.
No,
We're
it
still
really
killing
doesn't.
millions of people. Like this is deep, heavy stuff. But I kind of liked when they kept cutting back to like the war room there, like the
Yeah,
bunker in there, because you have a couple characters that are like, yeah, we have to send these nukes, we have to stop the entity, and a couple of them are like, yeah, but we're killing millions of people. Like let's chill out for a second. There was the one guy that like pulled his gun and tried to kill her or something. Like that moment, I was kind of like, where this came out of left field. That
yeah.
felt
No.
that felt kind of out of place to me. Like it also didn't end up doing anything. It killed the army general,
Hmm.
and like that was supposed to mean anything. We just met this guy 10 seconds ago, so
Yeah,
like
I know.
that didn't do anything for me. But overall, I think when they were cutting back, like that tension in the room, like constantly kind of just reminding us of that. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I think they did that little gun pull scene just because they wanted to have some action on that side, because it was just a lot of
Meh.
talking. So like, how do we bring up the intensity in this scene or whatever? Let's just get some guy to pull out a gun. He's been chronically. It's anyone that's chronically online. They have like a fear of AI. They're like, you can't do it. Don't go against the entity. It's like we got a couple of them. I'm like, all right, dog, relax, man. Get off
Yeah.
Instagram. Like, chill out, man. I don't know who you're following or what YouTube channel is telling you. You gotta go crazy, but
That's
these
funny.
guys
Yeah.
were out of left field. But the one thing I do wish is that I wish we got Rebecca Ferguson's character, like Ilsa, in this one to be in the last one, just because she became like a staple part of the team. But I did see her say in an interview that she loved playing that character, but like the movies demand so much time that
Mhm.
she was just like, she's like, I felt like I did a season of Silo and I did 2 Dune movies by the time they made one movie.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just trying to work, yo. Like I'm just trying.
Yeah.
She's like, I love being in those movies, but there's such a high, they just take so much time to make, and it's just like I want to do other thing.
What would you have her do though? Because she died in the last one. Would it be just a flashback, or would you have her be like, "Oh, she wasn't actually dead, and here she can do this"?
Yeah, because I feel like they could easily do those kind of
Yeah, they
things.
could, but that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Is that what you would do? You'd
I
just
don't
have her
know.
come back to life somehow, or you know?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'd have them do, but I don't know. I just liked her character. I don't know. I'm
Okay,
just
that's fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
I don't know. But yeah, I guess yeah. I don't know. Coming back, like the coming back to life thing feels. Here's another take another shot. Feels like a Fast and the Furious kind of thing to do, where it's just like swear we clearly saw that person die or whatever. But all right, tell me
Yeah, but
why
all
they
you'd have
didn't
to
die.
do is like it was a fake knife, or I don't, you know, they'd come up with some bullshit
It
to
actually wasn't me. Like a clone switched in, or
a
like a
mask,
doppelganger.
a
Yeah,
mask.
yeah, it was a mask. Yeah,
Boom,
yeah, because they
easy.
show the scene of like someone going to her body and then pulling the mask off. And they're like,
Exactly.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it was,
Exactly.
no, 100%.
Easy. It's so easy in this world with the mask. All you
No,
have to do is a mask.
100%. No, 100%. So Mission Impossible, it's always been, it's always blessed us with some dope stunts, and we got some pretty good action sequences. We got the underwater scene, we got the plane scene, and like you don't have to give away like your best scene for your filmies or anything like that. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on the stunts in this film, because like that's a big part of the franchise.
Yeah, I mean they were good. Like the submarine and the biplane are obviously the two big ones.
Mhm.
And the submarine scene, I thought it was long. It was
Yeah.
really long. It was like 20 minutes.
Mhm.
And so I think we could have got maybe like a touch less of it, but
Okay.
I do think it was still really really good. Like the it looked amazing for one.
Mhm.
Like Tom's in this suit and the mask that's illuminating his face, so we actually get to see his facial expression, like he can actually still act.
Yeah.
Um, but when he like opens the pod of the submarine and there's the massive other submarine,
Oh yeah.
I almost shit my pants. Because for me, it's funny that right after the movie, Alexis and I were talking, and she was talking about that scene. But when he got in the submarine, she was like, "Oh, I felt so claustrophobic. Like I felt so tense. Like I hated that moment." And I was like,
Yeah.
I was completely the opposite. When he got into the submarine, I was like, "Okay, he's good."
Yeah.
When he's out in the open water, I was terrified. Like open, deep
Yeah, I know.
water scares the crap out of me. Like if there was a freaking polar bear that came swimming, not, I mean on land he'd have no chance either.
Yeah.
But you know if a freaking orca whale or someone came, like he's fucked.
Yeah.
Like
No,
like just
100%.
me personally, like deep open water scares the shit out of me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
he was going down, I was crapping my pants. And then once he got in the submarine, I was like, okay, he's good. He's good.
Yeah. You know, it very, very much did feel like that. Like when they were going, like you almost felt like elements of like the movie got so much dark, like literally got darker, but it
Hmm.
felt so much like there was so much more aspects of fear with that, like so much more aspects of dread, because as you and Alexis both felt,
Yeah.
because usually we don't get that with the stunts. Like you feel a little bit of it, like when you see him climbing a building, you see him on a train or all these things, you do feel a little bit about it. But this, I don't know, for whatever reason, I agree with you. Like this felt, uh, I agree more with you with the versus the Alexis thing, because I don't really get like a claustrophobic thing.
Yeah.
I don't really have that much of it. Besides, like when you see those people go through those videos, like when they're underwater and they just you see them going like these things that are only in the
Mm,
space of their body. I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like, you don't even know what's on the other side, dog. What if you get stuck? And it's just like, yeah,
Right.
that stuff grosses me out. It wasn't that tight in the submarine where it made me grossed out, but
Except when he went into the torpedo
yeah, that was a
shaft.
little
That was the
rough.
only one.
But we knew that there was a way out though. So
Right.
that
True.
didn't stress me out as much. But I really like the double fighting sequence. Like how they're going back and forth between like the Navy SEAL fight, like when the guy like turned on him, another guy that was chronically online, and then the Russian the Russians having like kind of like that shootout at Will's crib. Like I
Yeah.
liked how it just like went back and forth, and
Yeah.
like it's how hard hitting the fight with Ethan was. So then that's when I was like, okay, we are getting him fighting. I'm not in some off screen BS.
Yeah. That was when he pushed the dude's face into the treadmill.
Oh yeah,
God damn, that was crazy.
that was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
rough.
That guy came and turned on him. That was a you got Tom fighting in his underwear. That was a good fight though on the island though. You're right. Like when the Russians came in, that was a good reveal for me. Like they got in and I was like, okay, they're the team. They're talking to Dunlow and they're gonna figure out the coordinates or they're gonna get the job. And then the Russians came around and they have all their guns and everything. And then I was like, oh, how are they gonna get out of this?
Yeah,
Like again, this is Mission Impossible movie. They're gonna get out of this. But
yeah.
how is it like I could see it going a lot of different ways. I didn't know what's gonna happen. Then the dog started barking and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they're gonna get him.
It's like there we go. Yeah, no,
There
it
they got
was
him.
it was really interesting, and again, like that movie that also gave us even before that actually before that fight happened, it gave us one of the hardest moments of the movie, which I just remembered him sitting there like with the water going over his back. I've seen some people put pictures, like it looks like an album picture. You like because
Mm,
they just got him in and they put like I guess they're putting just warm water on him. I don't know how you
right.
deal with like what's it called
Hypothermia.
hypothermia. Yeah, do you put cold water or warm water or hot water? I don't know what you do.
No, I think it would be warm water because you're cold. You want to warm up.
Yeah. But I thought it was like you
It's
wouldn't
not
want to
like
shock your body like going that dramatically. I thought
well,
you
I
maybe
think
want to go.
you're thinking more like a frostbite. I think
That's what I'm
like if
thinking. Yeah, with your
if your
hands.
if your skin is like super cold, you don't want to shock it. But like if your internal body temperature is super cold because you were in cold water, that was another thing. When he dove out of the helicopter, they came and grabbed him like 5 seconds later.
Hmm.
So were they were must have already been suited up and in the water. Like why?
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Why were they already in the water? There's like I get like maybe if you see that guy jumped off, let's go get him.
Yeah, but
But
they were already there.
they were right there.
I don't know. It's a good point. I just accepted it, honestly. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. Where I was just like, were they anticipating because they saw planes? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Ethan Hunt's on that helicopter.
Yeah,
He's about to jump off.
yeah,
Let's
exactly.
go get ready.
I
He's
guess
coming.
so. I don't know.
But then
Yeah,
when we got into the
the sub.
submarine,
Yeah.
yeah, when he's in the sub, and then it started like spinning,
Hmm.
that was dope.
Yeah. No, that
When
was sick.
he's fighting through, because some parts are fully underwater, some parts are I guess are sealed, so it's just they're like they're full of air. You see
Yeah.
a couple like frozen dead bodies. That was kind of
Oh
nasty.
yeah. There's actually like kind of like a little jump scare.
Yeah,
Yeah, just pop those guys' faces. I'm like, oh, I'm like, what? And then
yeah.
they remind you of the flashback. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But yeah, no, that shook me a little bit.
But when it was spinning, I thought that was,
Oh
and then
yeah,
the
no,
torpedoes are dropping all over the place. That was pretty dope.
yeah, it was creative because they could have done the whole thing where he just would have completely underwater. They didn't have to give him some like airspace, but they clearly had a vision of like how they wanted this to go. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. I did like how they had it moving, and then the water was spinning with him as he was going. I think the plane stunt obviously was just so impressive to me, just because it's like if you forget that this man is 62 years old, this man is 62 years old. So, I mean, probably 60 or 61 by the time when he was actually doing this stunt. But like say what you want about him, like he didn't need to do this stuff. You know what I mean? Like he has the fame. He doesn't have to prove himself, and it's just impressive to me that he keeps doing these things. Like at this point, like that because that stunt is insane. You watch the
Yeah.
behind this. At that point, I didn't see the behind the scenes stuff. But like I'm already looking. I'm like I know a large aspect of this he's actually doing, which is just
Yeah,
insane.
he was actually on the wing of a plane flying through the air. Like he was obviously tied to some cables,
Yeah, but
but he's
still.
tied to the plane.
Yeah.
So if the plane goes down, like he's still dying because he didn't
Yeah.
have a parachute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how he's got to just sign every waiver on the face of the
Yeah,
earth to say
yeah.
like, because like if this guy just loves action, like
Yeah.
I think
An
you're right. It's
adrenaline
not like
junkie.
and it's not he's like I need to prove to people that I can do this, or
Yeah.
I don't think it's that. I think it's literally just like I want to push myself, and if I die doing this, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. He's Evil Knievel.
Yeah.
He's a modern day Evil Knievel, to be honest. He just does it in movies. Evil Knievel is, well, I don't actually know what Evil Knievel. I think he was just doing it just in live for the people. Then it wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily like to be just do the stunts. But Tom's like, I'm gonna be that, but I'm gonna put it in movies. And it's
Basically.
just, yeah, it's just wild, man. And like,
Yeah.
I do have to say though, the wind blowing on his face was kind of jokes though.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
morphing his face. It
Yeah,
was like the first one.
it was
We
like the
talked about
first
the
one.
giant wind machine that they got when he was on the train.
Yeah.
But now he's 60, so his skin's a little looser. So it was just like completely melting his whole face.
And his hair like
And his
coming
hair,
down.
yeah.
Yo, I got shook from him. I thought the plugs were gonna fly out. Yo.
You think he's got plugs? No, that's not real. It's not
I
real.
don't,
Tom Cruise in
I
a
don't know. Maybe I'm just
toupee.
hating. I'm just hating. No, maybe it
Toupee
might be
Tom?
real. I don't know. It looks kind of real, but he might just have some good plugs. I don't know.
He might. I think it's legit. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know. I just believe it more if his hair was shorter. When I just see that long hair, I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe. I'm
That's
sorry,
fair.
Tom. I'm hating. I'm just hating, Tom. I don't know. I'm putting some bad juju on me. I'm gonna need plugs now.
I will say though, when like at the end of, I guess not at the end, but kind of 2/3 through maybe the biplane scene, when Gabriel dies,
Mm.
he went out soft, man.
Oh,
Like you were
yeah.
supposed to be the big bad. You were the big bad of the movie before this.
Yeah.
You kind of talked about how he was delegated to like the lackey in this one, but you're still like the bad guy who was holding the algorithm and all this.
Mhm.
And you're like, I got a parachute. I'm totally fine. And then you jump off and just like split your head on the tail of the plane. I was like, that's lame. You suck.
Yeah, no, it was a little goofy. I agree too. Part of me was like, did he actually just die right there? I thought it
Oh, he
was
was
like
dead.
when he hit his head initially, I was like, oh, that kind of hurts. But then the way like it continued on, I was like, oh, I guess that was a kill shot.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
would,
what I mean.
yeah, no,
Like
100%.
like, it felt kind of like, oh, that's it. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
no, I agree. It was kind of lackluster. You almost want like a dramatic like bullet shot or a dramatic fight, and then stab. It's like, oh, I got the last laugh, or some
Right.
corny like Spider-Man tag or whatever.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, because another thing, like Tom twice
yeah,
climbs onto the plane, walks right up to the dude and punches him in the face. What are they doing?
yeah, I know.
What were they like? This is not my lazy word. Maybe
Yeah.
it's yours, but like you see him. They both saw him climb right to him, and he just knocks them out. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, fight back.
In my eyes, I was thinking, I was like, maybe they don't see him. Maybe like they're so focused. They got tunnel vision, and like they're like, there's no way I'm seeing Ethan Hunt there. Like they don't even believe it. They're like, there's no way this guy's.
Fair.
Yeah, there's no way this guy's climbing on here. I'm seeing wrong.
You know what it was? They're like, no, this is the entity. This is the entity, like, because remember that nobody knows what's real. So
Yeah,
like, that's not
true.
real. There's no way this guy's climbing on my plane right now. That's probably, you're right. That's probably what it was. They were like,
Maybe
I don't
man.
believe it. I
They
don't
just
believe it.
didn't
It's
wanna
the entity
believe
in my
it.
brain. And then he punches him in the face. Like, whoa, what the hell? Wait, this guy's actually here? God damn.
It's like, okay, that feels real.
Yeah, God. The entity got hands. God damn.
So I don't know if again, like we don't know if this is actually the final film, but do you think like how it ended and everything? We kind of talked about it. Like, how do you feel about like how the movie closed off? Like just in general, or like any final thoughts you had on just like the way if this is the last movie, like how you thought it how well they did with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, like they left it open if they want to come back to another one, but if this is the end, like I think they ended it pretty well. Like I think the fact that you accomplish both is impressive.
Yeah.
That if this is the final, like Tom shaking hands with Briggs and Kittredge being pissed off that the Podcova was destroyed, while he's limping along the mountains, and Luther's giving this monologue about, I don't even remember exactly what it was about, to be honest, but it felt very final. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is a good send off to this character.
Are you crying there? Are you getting emotional?
No, I just
Oh, okay. Scott's getting emotional, guys.
Yeah, man. Luther was hitting me. No, I'm not crying. But yeah, I don't know if I think either way, I'm happy with.
Okay.
And like you said, I don't have this nostalgic tie where I'm like, this is like a franchise that I've hung on to for the last 20 years. So like I need to keep going, or Yeah, you're right. Almost 30. Yeah.
Almost 30, yeah.
So I don't have that tie, but I think they did good by the end.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I agree too. And like I guess with me, I have more of that emotional tie because I did watch like in the early 2000s. I did like I mentioned how in the last podcast we did when we were reviewing the first Mission Impossible, how this was the first kind of franchise besides Austin Powers that introduced me to like the spy world. So it didn't get me like I wasn't tearing up at the end where I was like, yo, did freaking post credits Dean see me crying or no? But but I was definitely like, damn, I wonder if this actually I actually sat there, I was like, I wonder if this actually is it. I'm like, it was a good run. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's hard to get that many. And again, they're not all perfect movies, but like to make 8 movies, and I'd say at least 6 out of 8 of them were like really enjoyable. It's tough feat to do. If this is the end, it's accomplishment.
Yeah, that leads me to a question that I have. Well, I guess there's one that you haven't seen, but I'm putting you on the spot. Do you have like a
Okay.
ranking?
Ooh, that is tough. I'd have to go look at the movies then, just to see, just as my to.
Well, I know Fallout's your number one.
Yeah, I think Fallout is my number one. It's close. Honestly, it's close between the first one and Fallout to me because I think the first one has the
Really?
nostalgia. Yeah, I think the first one has the nostalgia thing because then we rewatched it. I'm like, oh yeah, the movie was really fun, and I just remembering like the twist that got me, like the opening scene and like stuff like that. I was like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't see that happening. I do really like Fallout. What's it called? Which is the one that I haven't seen? I think it's Ghost Protocol. I haven't seen. I liked Rogue Nation. I actually really liked the last one. So I think it'd go Fallout, first one, what's it called? Dead Reckoning, and then Rogue, and then this one, and then
Okay.
you can shuffle the other ones how you
The
may.
one to three,
Yeah,
or
I
the
didn't.
two, three,
Yeah,
and
2, 3,
whatever.
2 and 3 are kind of like are kind of at the low point because the other ones kind of pull like splash them out of the water of just like they just got so much better. So not saying
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're not watchable, but they just don't.
yeah.
The,
Two is out of the ones I've seen, the my least favorite.
yeah,
One isn't even like that amazing, but for what it is, the start of a great franchise.
yeah. To me, it's more of a nostalgic thing. Like I think that's
Yeah,
what it comes down to for
and
me, which
I
why.
also got to respect the iconic, the vault scene
Yeah,
and the opening scene that I loved, and like there are a lot of good stuff, good things about that movie. But the new ones I think are just
yeah,
better in the sense of one, they have bigger, crazier action because of technology and
yeah,
more money and all that stuff that they can do now. And that's what these movies are. They're popcorn movies. So
yeah,
like it's about the action and stuff. Um, but like the twists as well, like that's something that I love about these movies that continues to get better. So I don't know, the mask always gets me. Like
yeah,
this is an awesome franchise that I really like, but I wouldn't give a rank because there's enough that I haven't seen. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't Fallout definitely is one of the best ones. I
yeah.
agree with you there.
No,
That one's really good.
yeah. It's and again, those rankings definitely because even though I'm saying like this one that we just watched, I had like 3 other movies above it, but it's not. That doesn't mean that this movie was so bad that's why
Right.
it's down there. It's just there's a lot of them, and like those other ones. Those are the ones they've aged on me, and I've like
Hmm.
so like when you just watch a new movie, unless it's exceptional, it's hard for it to jump to the top of your list. I kind of have to rewatch again and be like, you know what? Because that's really it comes down to. If you can rewatch it again, you're like, you know what? I actually really like this one. Now for a second watch, there's more things I'm realizing that I maybe didn't pick up on the first time. I was looking at it with a different lens. Now I can just watch this in the sense of like I know where the plot's going, so let me see if I can enjoy some other things, and maybe I would on the second watch, where maybe we'll get bumped up some more.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
Mm.
I had one last
Yeah,
question, I guess. So when Ethan comes out of the submarine,
yeah,
and he's got his gear gets trapped as it's going down, so he's got to let it go,
hmm
and he's just there in the freezing water, and he's got just his underwear on. I was like, okay, this is insane. But again, it's Ethan Hunt, so he swims up to the surface, and then he starts like tensing
pulsating.
up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like and freaking out because they told us early on, right? They're like, if you get
You need to get the
hypothermia,
bends.
like it's one, the hypothermia, and two, the pressure, the depressurization as he's coming up to the surface. That I think Tom Cruise was actually awesome, and like he was really freaking out
Oh
in the
yeah,
water. But then he comes out and they put him in the decompression chamber, and Grace is there with him.
Oh
But
yeah.
she hasn't been pressurized. Like, wouldn't that kill her? Because like, doesn't it match the pressure the person's in, and then slowly, gradually, like release that pressure to slowly
Yeah.
bring them up? So I don't think she can be in there with them. I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like I
That's a
remember
good point.
she was lying with him. I was like, wait, is she in there with him? And
My
then we
thing was
see
like, is it done?
oh,
Did she join him afterwards? I didn't even think
maybe.
about that though. Even in the moment, I was like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, she joined him because it's done. I was just like, oh, I guess that's kind of cute. She's joining him. But if that is the case, then yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
right.
even.
Maybe it was just done, and she just climbed in there and wanted to like I don't know. But
That is
but
a
that's
funny
another
thought.
thing that I was like where they kind of like tease this connection that they have a thing for each other cuz like why else would you go in there with someone if you don't like
Yeah.
have feelings for them? So I don't know. They kind of play both sides with that relationship that I think was kind of weird, but yeah, I saw her in there I was like, "What? I don't think that's right.
That's a good
I don't
point.
think that's right."
No, it's a good thing to point out. Honestly, I didn't even. Sometimes I'm just accepting things where I'm just like I see something, I'm just like, I guess this makes sense. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean that's what you got to do, and like none of these things are ruining the movie for
No,
me. Like I'm
definitely not.
going
Yeah,
in
yeah,
like giving the movie grace,
yeah.
no pun
No point.
intended.
Ah,
Yeah, you
ah.
know I'm giving it some grace. Be like this isn't supposed to be realistic. Like something like this where it's like it doesn't have to happen. I was like, why do
Yeah.
this? But
No.
whatever. Oh, actually, I there's one point I forgot to mention too. There's a Family Guy moment that we
Oh,
skipped
there's
over.
two of them.
You're right.
Yeah,
The one
there's
that
two.
I wrote down is when he's in the box with the entity. He says, "In
Yeah,
4 days they will face the final
yeah.
reckoning."
I was like, ah.
The entity got a
Yeah.
Family Guy moment. It knew what it was doing.
Yeah, I knew it was. I thought the exact same thing too. I was like, "Oh, Family Guy moment." And then later, Gabriel said the same thing too.
Yep.
Gabriel was like, "Is your final reckoning?" I was like, "Okay, now they're getting cute." You had a second one in there. I was like, "You guys might as well have said Mission Impossible,"
Exactly. Yeah.
which they
This
didn't.
mission is impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not the first reckoning. That was last year.
Yeah, this is Mission Impossible: The Dead Reckoning, and everyone looks at the camera.
Part 2.
Dang, dang, dang.
Yeah, this is almost like part 2 of when we went with Gabriel the last time.
Yeah, oh my God. But that was good. No, I'm glad you mentioned that too because I forgot to mention. I had that in my notes. I forgot to mention it. So
Always
yes,
got to mention the Family Guy
always got to
moment.
mention the Family Guy moments. It's a
Yeah.
staple if they're in there at least.
You're right. Yeah.
But that's all I got. I don't know if you had any final.
I got a couple facts.
Okay. Yeah,
So, I mean, one is just the budget. So it's
okay.
been estimated between 300 and 400 million. So I guess they don't know exactly what it is, but like either way, holy shit, that's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money.
And it's mostly because of delays from COVID and the writer's strike. Apparently, like like you said, like Rebecca Ferguson mentioning that she shot 2 Dune movies and a whole season of her show.
Silo.
Yeah. So like this movie took a long ass time, but 300 to 400 million is insane. It's going to take forever for them to get their money back, which I think they will though.
That's insane. I think this and Jurassic Park are neck and neck for the most expensive movies of all time. And the crazy thing too is that like just from like now that I'm like I've been in we're in this movie space. I always see these things. A lot of times in those budgets, they don't even add in the marketing
Right.
part of it. So like
It's
the marketing for this
sometimes.
I'm giving it at least another 100 million on that.
Yeah,
Just
for
considering
sure.
like all the places they've flying Tom out to go to just to be on buildings and all the posters, all the commercials, easily another 100 million. So it's like a
Yeah.
$400 million movie. I think
Yeah,
it's
I've
probably
seen ads
gonna
all over the place.
exactly. It's literally all over the place. I think you think it's gonna make a Billy? You're gonna make a prediction?
Um,
It's all over the world.
no.
It's a global movie.
Yeah, you're right.
You get that.
Well, I could like if it happens, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think it's because it toes that line of it might be the last one, it might not be. Like if the word of mouth went around where it's like, okay, this is the final movie. Like if Ethan Hunt died, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like everyone would be like, okay, no, if you like Wish, like you have to see this movie.
Yeah.
Like this is the end. This is the last movie. You got it. Then everyone would be like, okay, it's the last one. I gotta go check it out.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have that, so I could see it not touching him, Billy, but I could also see it happening. I don't know.
I think the word of mouth is pretty good on this for people saying you got to go see it though.
Oh yeah,
In the sense of like, yeah, just overall, just what I've seen online. It's not like getting like the Sinners push where everyone's like, you got to go see it. But
Right.
it's just like in the sense of like, Oh, it's a go. Like, do you like the Mission Impossible movies? Which I don't really know many people that don't. Like, if maybe you're not a huge action movie fan, so then you just gotta don't feel like you need to go check it out. But where, especially in this time, the competition's starting to come with like a lot of the movies coming out. But like the weekend comes around, it's like, all right, you guys want to go to the movies? Like we got like Lilo and Stitch, we got Mission Impossible. Like there's gonna have some competitions with like I don't think Ballerina will take a huge chunk of it. It's kind of like maybe it'll take a little bit because it's kind of a similar audience. So,
Yeah.
but then there's like it's something you take the family to.
Hmm.
So I think that's is a good because we talked about how it's not too. I don't even know what the rating is. Yeah, I'm looking at it
I'm
right now.
pretty
It's
sure it's
PG.
PG.
Yeah, it's rated PG. So yeah, I'm 100 sure if we'll make $1 billion. I'm just kind of see if you can make it if we can make a take on it. See if what do we think. But
Well, if I had to guess yes or no, you know what? I think it will. I think it
okay,
will. I think
all
it
right.
will. I think Tom Cruise, the movie star, pushing it like nobody ever else pushes movies, trying to save the industry.
Yeah,
And like you said, the word of mouth is like decent. I think a lot
yeah,
of people feel kind of how we feel. Like we enjoyed it, but we're
yeah,
not saying it's the best Mission Impossible. It's the
yeah,
best movie ever. So like if someone wanted to go watch it, I'd say, yeah, go watch it.
yeah,
But I'm not, you're right. It's not getting that sinner's push where I'm telling people like, you got to go see this movie.
yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
For the biplane scene, when Ethan is getting into the plane with no pilot, like when he
Hmm.
knocks that guy out and he's trying to get into the plane when no one's driving it. So it was filmed with a pilot in a green suit so they could be digitally
Oh,
removed.
okay. Yeah, yeah, I
I
did
mean,
see. Yeah,
I guess I kind of figured that because like there's no way they're just gonna have an unpiloted
yeah.
plane. But
No, I
I don't know.
mean,
I just thought it
wow.
was interesting.
No, I thought it was cool because I was wondering how they did it too. And then when I saw the guy in the greens, like the morphin suit, basically, I was like, okay, it's interesting. It's still like when you watch it, I mean, it still is crazy to see though.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
regardless, even though there's a guy flying it, the dude's hanging off the side of a plane. Like that's still like I wouldn't do that.
No.
Most people wouldn't even like go on like you can do like the CN Tower like edge walk. Most people wouldn't even
Oh
do
yeah.
that because it makes them feel gross.
Well, a
Hanging
lot of
on
people
this
don't even go on roller
That's what
coasters
I'm
or like
saying.
yeah.
So hanging on the side of a plane, I don't care if there's actually someone flying it or if you're strapped in, it still feels horrible.
Would you rather? Well, I- Tom didn't actually do this, like the go into deep open ocean water. But
Yeah.
if you had to either fly off the side of a plane or open up a submarine into the Arctic Ocean, like a just massive open water, which would you rather do?
Wait, what did it say the two options again? If
The
I
plane, like the plane, basically
Oh,
the
the
plane
plane?
stunt or the submarine stunt.
Oh,
Which would you
plane.
rather do?
Plane.
Plane?
Yeah, because the underwater there's more unknowns.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, like especially because it's dark, like he can see, but like there's so like you can only see like a little bit. There's so many like underwater creatures and things maybe you wouldn't see. Like they didn't tap into that, but like there's so much unknown down there that like, that kind of creeps me out. But at least if I'm in the sky, I see everything. Now a bird's not gonna catch me slipping. I'm gonna see that bird or whatever it is. It's still like scary, but
I don't know.
I'd
You did say if
much
you're
rather.
flying the plane, a whole human on your airplane might catch you slipping.
Yeah, I
You're
guess
not gonna see
I'd
him.
take the human. I take the
Okay,
human versus whatever creatures are down there in Finding Nemo
you're
or
right.
whatever it is.
That's a good point because yeah, because then you're in their arena.
Yeah, that's what
Like
I'm
if
saying.
I'm fighting any water animal, I'm at a disadvantage and I'm
That's what I'm
losing.
saying.
That's why that just creeps the hell out of me. I
Ugh.
can't. One time I was on this like a I guess a raft kind of being
Okay.
dragged by a boat.
Mhm.
And I fell off of it, and I wasn't even like the middle of the ocean, but I was
Yeah.
like deep enough, and I was petrified, bro.
Ugh. Yeah, that's a gross feeling, man. Ugh.
Deep water
Get the little
scares the hell out of me.
seaweed grabbing at touching your feet.
Oh my god! If something touched me, I think I'd actually just die. I think I would just cease to exist.
Oh my
The
goodness.
last one I have is the date on the paper that the president gives Ethan to
Yeah.
give to the aircraft carrier captain,
Mhm.
May 22nd, 1996.
Mhm.
She says like, "Oh, that's a day that where we both lost someone because the people in charge wouldn't take a risk or whatever."
Yeah.
That is the release date of the first movie.
Ah. I
So
guess
just a
I mean I
little
guess that does make sense. Yeah,
yeah.
they tap it's I guess yeah, the exact so I guess we're in the exact is this supposed to be the exact same time period that is supposed to
Yeah,
be
cuz it's May
2025?
May 24th or 3rd I think is when it came out. Like
Yeah.
the Friday whenever it was.
Mhm. Okay, yeah.
Um So yeah, it's I guess not to the day. Actually, I saw it on the Thursday, so I saw it May 22nd.
Yeah, true. When I saw that date, it was kind of cool. I was like, "Oh, snap! It actually is May." Like, I was like, they clearly have they always been coming out in May? I didn't even look into that. I was like, maybe they've always been May movies. Probably around that, like May.
Probably.
It's always been a summer blockbuster. Probably kind of like May,
Yeah.
June, July, whatever they can get, kind of thing. Probably. But
Yeah.
no, that's interesting.
Just a little callback.
Yeah, nice little callback to the first movie. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. Another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah. No, that's all I got too. So I think it might be time to get into the film.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is Filmies time. Welcome to the Filmies. This is our award show that we do at the end of every episode. We got 6 awards, and we're going to jump right into it with our fit check. So what was your favorite or least favorite outfit of the whole movie?
So my fit check went to Pisa. So that's Will's wife.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I don't know, but she was wearing what kind of looked like that traditional like Inuit like clothing kind of thing. Like it looked like it was like that they make from like caribou skin. Like I mean, the Inuit people like they don't play around when it comes to like if you ever been to a Canadian museum and you see like the art that they put into their clothing, it's like you see it and it's just like they're not even they're not trying to just stay warm, like they're trying to they're trying to show off for those polar bears, like they and I just thought,
see this coat?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Polar bears, like I don't know if we can eat them, you see that fit?
Yeah, pretty
But
fresh.
I had to give it to her because it just looks so dope. Like it wasn't even like because like I was saying, when you go to like the museums, you see some cool ones that have like these like cool like designs and stuff like that. That one didn't have like the crazy details of like maybe had like the teeth or whatever it is, all those stuff, but like it was just fresh. It just like so fluffy, and I was like, yo, I kind of want one. It looked.
So it's the coat. So it's the coat, like the outdoor.
The coat. This outdoor coat.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave it to her.
That's a great pick.
Hey,
and that's a certified fit check because that's also my pick for my favorite fit. Topisa. Yeah, just the natural fur coat was dope.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I was just like, yeah, that.
I almost gave it to Ethan when he gets onto the aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm.
He's not wearing anything crazy, but he's got the Army, the Navy hat and the aviators on, and I was like, this is literally Top Gun.
Oh,
like
yeah.
They even land on the aircraft carrier. Like we get a seat of that. I was like, this guy slipped Top Gun into his own movie.
100%.
That's awesome.
I was thinking the exact same thing too. I'm like, okay, I see that little Top Gun tie-in right there. But no, I like that too. The way you asked me to, I was like, oh, does he got the same?
I wanted to make sure. I was like, because if it was what she was wearing, like when she was inside the house, then it's not quite the same. But I was like, no, that fur coat, it was just, you're right. Like I see it and it's fresh. Like, I know it's natural, real, and like warm as cozy as can be.
Yeah. And as soon as I saw her wearing, I was like, fit check. Yep, I was like, until I see something else, I'm like, let me just write that down. I don't know if anything's going to touch that, but exactly. I was trying to think, I was like, is hers or Grace's better? But I'm like, either way, it's her thing. So I'm not going to give it to Grace. So
I was literally thinking the exact same thing. Yeah. So Grace had one on too. I was like, I'm not giving it to Grace, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'm giving it to Topisa, the real one.
That's what I'm saying. So, hey, shout out.
Next, we got our 6-man.
Yeah.
So this is our Peyton Pritchard Award. Peyton Pritchard 6-man Award. He's probably still in Cancun having a good time. So this is someone with a smaller role in the movie that did the most with their small role coming off the bench. Who gets your 6-man?
So I gave it to William from the first movie, aka our CIA analyst. I don't know. I popped like we mentioned earlier when I saw him. Like we just rewatched the first movie and we joked about him being sent off. So when I saw him on the screen, it just made me smile. And he turned out to have a big part of the movie. I thought it was gonna be like this little quick cameo, and I was like, oh, that's a fun thing. And then we're gonna kind of move on. But we stayed with him. Like there's a big part that was like within his crib, and then like him having like the coordinates just like in his head. Like he ended up being a big part of the movie.
But okay.
Yeah, I know. In his small role, but hey, he gets my 6-man.
He even disarmed the bomb at the end.
Yeah, no, 100%. What you say is bullshit. that
he memorized coordinates from fucking how long ago was it? Did they say it was?
Oh, years. Yeah, I don't even know how many
years ago.
Years ago.
I mean, what years ago, and you memorized what? No,
maybe he had it written down and he was always looking at it, and he's like, well, I got this, like a phone number, just Got it memorized.
No, that's bullshit. But
What
that's a great
about
pick.
you? What about you?
There was actually a lot of great six men
Yeah.
in this movie. Like you could have had him. I wanted to give his wife the six man
Yeah, I thought about that too.
because she gets Grace and they go out and they get the decompression chamber ready. Like she was a great six man. There was a lot of good options.
Oh yeah.
I went with Ving Rhames, who plays
Okay.
Luther,
Mm.
and this is pretty much a legacy award.
Yeah.
In this movie, he didn't do anything like exceptional that I was like, okay, yeah, he's my six man. But he died early enough that he was in this movie for a short enough time that I think he's eligible.
No, that's fair. I'll give you
Like
that.
series franchise wide, he's definitely not.
Yeah.
He's
within
definitely
that
not.
film.
He's been a lot, but within this movie, he's in it a short enough time that I could give him my six man. And like I said, legacy award. He's the only other person other than Tom to be in all 8 movies. He went out saving the city, self-sacrifice, and yeah, he was Ethan's sidekick for loyal sidekick. Got the job done. The tech guy, the guy in the chair, he was great. He's my six man.
No, that's a great pick. Like I'm not mad at that, and I agree that he wasn't, as far as the franchise goes, he's not a six man, obviously, but within that movie, he didn't have that much in it. But I'm not mad at you giving him the legacy award for that because Luther's a legend, So shout out Luther.
Absolute
It's
legend.
That's a great six man.
Next, we got our Ferris Bueller award. So this is our lazy award. So this is something that someone did on screen, off screen, whatever, that we consider to be lazy. Didn't ruin the movie, but we got to point out some laziness. So who was the laziest person in this movie?
I gave it to Gabriel.
Okay.
And it's just because we talked about it too, how you're just like, he's like, I know, I forget what, like we forgot what the thing is, like the
algorithm.
Well, not even
thing?
like the thing he had on his neck. What was
Yeah.
the name? Not that thing. What was the name of the thing that Ethan had? What was that again called?
Podkova.
Yeah, the Podkova. He just kept saying like, I know the Podkova is going to come to me or whatever. Is that what he was saying, or was it the other way around?
Yeah,
he was saying, I know the Podkova is going to come to me. And to me, that was just annoying the hell out of me because I'm like, dog, like, just go get it. Like the whole movie, just like, I know it's going to come to me. It's like, but you keep going to them and then like go and then moving on. Like, just get it.
Yeah. like you're here, you got all your goons, like take the fight and get the Podkova.
Yeah.
You have to take the fight at some point. Like they're not just going to give it to you.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, he's literally just being lazy because it's almost he's being lazy and then he's doing too much at the same time. It's like you keep going out your way to get to them. And then you just leave being like, I know you guys are going to follow me, so I'm not even going to do anything. I'm just going to wait for you to come to me. And yeah, so he gets my lazy award for that. He just constantly saying like, I know the Podkova is going to come to me. Just go get it, dog.
I like that. And it actually makes me think this might be a pretty big plot hole. So he goes into this bunker, sets up this massive bomb. He knows the whole team is going to come there with the Podkova. And for one, what's the point of doing that if you're just going to leave? And two, if they're going to come and bring the Podkova and you blow them all up, you're going to destroy the Podkova.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah. No.
And then how are you going to control the entity? You can't. So what was the plan?
That's a good point.
If it went to his plan, he would have lost.
Yeah.
What was his plan? That actually makes no sense. I'm furious about this. I literally just thought about it, but I'm pissed off. What is he doing?
Maybe, well, in his eye, I think he thought he was gonna hand it to him. Because remember, he's like, "Say I win," and he's like, "You win," and then I think his thought was like, "I'm gonna hand to him, and then I'm gonna kill them on my way out."
But why would they do that?
I don't know.
Why would Ethan be like, "Okay, here's the Podkova, blow me up, GG's"?
I don't know why they would do that. I don't know why they do that.
They wouldn't. So that's a bad plan. So I'm glad you gave him your lazy award. That's great.
What about you though?
My Ferris Bueller I gave to Grace.
Okay.
And it's when Benji is explaining the plan. They're on their way. They're in the plane. They're on their way to the island to get the coordinates. He's explaining the plan, and he pulls the cover off of the decompression chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And Grace says, "What the hell is that?" And written right on top of it in big bold letters says decompression chamber. I'm like, God damn it, Grace, read the fucking thing. Everyone else in the audience, like you open the thing and I mean, I get it. It's a little, it's a plant so that it gives Benji the opportunity to explain
Yeah.
how it works to the audience. But like, come on, Grace. It says right on top, decompression chamber. If the line was like, how does that work, or something,
Yeah.
like how is that going to help? Then sure. But she says, what is that? It's written right there. She didn't read it.
Oh,
Lazy.
that's good. That's good. I didn't even catch that, to be honest. I think it was just one of those movie things where, again, sometimes you just go into these movies and you just accept certain things. Like someone asking such a simple ass question, or just like someone queuing, like, or like when someone explains something in the class, things like, "Can you say it in English, please?" And it's like so they can explain it to the audience because we don't understand like the nerd speak or whatever it is. And
Right.
to me,
Yeah.
it's that. It's like, what the heck is that thing? It's like, well, if you could read.
Yeah.
He almost should have thrown that in, to be honest. Just get a little jab at her. It's like, oh, so
Just
you can
like
pick.
points at the thing.
So it's like,
It's like,
so I see when you've pickpocketed, you never pickpocketed a book because your ass can't read. It clearly
yeah.
says.
Spent too much time running pockets and instead of at the library, Grace. Figure it out. Like you should have just pointed at the thing like it's decompression chamber.
Yeah.
It says right there.
That's a good Ferris Bueller. I like that.
Next we got our favorite quote. Pretty self-explanatory. What was your favorite quote?
I gave mine to Luther, and it's just like in his again, this is almost like a legacy thing too, because that's one to give him an award.
Yeah.
And it was just in the emotional scene of just like his death when he leaves with saying like, "We live and die in the shadows for those we hold close and for those we've never met." And
Classic
line. And I gave it to him because again, it's kind of like a legacy thing. I didn't end up giving like my sixth man because I wanted to go another route with that. I want to give it to Will. So I just like it's a good line itself. I didn't just like to give like a throwaway line like him saying some stupid ass joke or something. I
this
think it's
is
a good
the
line.
algorithm. It's gonna break the pot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But no,
Bars.
he gets my quote. Luther
Yeah,
gets
it would have felt wrong to not give him an award.
Yeah,
Just like we said, like legacy award.
Mhm.
So I gave him six man. You gave him quote. I like it.
What about
My
you?
quote I gave to Paris.
Okay.
And it's when they're at the cave in South Africa, and then they reveal the bomb's there.
Yeah.
And she says in French, for no reason, "Who will live and who will die?" It's simple as that. But the reason it's my favorite quote is it's exactly what I'm thinking in this moment. Like we're going into the final fight. We all know this. And I was literally thinking, I was like, okay, I feel like someone's got to die here. Like this
Yeah.
is the big final fight. No one does. I was kind of upset
Yeah.
at that, to be honest.
Mhm.
But I was literally thinking, I was like, okay, who's gonna live and who's gonna die? It's
Yeah.
not gonna be Ethan, but
Yeah.
anybody else. But at the same time, I was like, it's the final reckoning. Like he could
Yeah.
die. They could kill him.
No,
here.
for sure.
So it's the exact question I was asking in that moment, and she said it out loud. It kind of, to me, it also kind of upped the tension a little bit, just to like make me feel that like there are real stakes, like someone is actually going to die. Like to me, like they put it in there to be like, this is what you guys should be thinking. Like
Yeah.
someone's gonna die. Who's it gonna be?
Mhm.
And is what I was thinking. And I was a little disappointed that no one died.
Yeah. No,
But I like the quote.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Again, I was going and not think I didn't really think Ethan was gonna die because I just didn't think that this franchise, if this is gonna be the last one, they wanted to end on that kind of note. But yeah, part of me was thinking, especially after Luther died, and I was like, okay, so nobody's kind of safe, obviously besides
Right.
Ethan, but like something else can happen. Like maybe it's the president. Like I don't know. Like it could be anyone. But yeah, and then it didn't happen. But no, I like that quote though especially for your reasoning too, because I felt the same way. I was like, okay, who's gonna get popped here?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, because when he's falling through the air, right, and he's trying to plug in the algorithm into the pod, and of course, it gets done last second, but he tries to pull his chute and then it burns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulls like the backup. Were you like, did you think he was gonna die at that point, or like he's just gonna plug in the thing, save the world, and then just get like splat?
Yeah, I thought that, I definitely didn't think it was gonna happen like that. They did have me like concerned. I was like, what? How is he gonna get out of this? Because I didn't think that he was gonna die like that if he was going to. Because I'm like, that's kind of a weird way to to end him
Yeah.
off. You'd feel like it'd be more of like a hand to hand thing if you're gonna do that,
Mm.
or some kind of like moment, like the classic thing where it's like the fight's over and then like, are you good, Ethan? Then like he reveals that he got shot or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
those kind of things where it's just
Right.
like, oh snap, like he's slowly dying. Like I feel like you'd do that. You wouldn't have him just like fall from a plane. To me, I feel like
Right.
it'd be somewhat anticlimactic.
I see that's interesting because I kind of feel the opposite. Like if it was a hand to hand thing, then we'd have to admit that like someone beat Ethan Hunt in a
Mhm.
fight, and this guy doesn't lose fights. So like, whereas falling off of a plane that's going down, like there's no other way that he could get out of this situation. Like this is his only choice,
Mhm.
and he goes out saving the world. He plugs the thing in time. He does his job. They stop the entity. They stop everything, and he in order for him to do that, he had to die.
Yeah, that's true. But to me, I feel like you'd need some kind of um some emotional contact between him and like someone else. Like I feel like he need to be on the
Mm.
phone or something
Like,
and be
oh
like,
yeah, it could have been on comms. Like,
yeah, yeah, I'm
I'm
not
not
gonna
gonna
make it
make
this
it
time,
or something.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then have like an emotional moment versus like them. It'd be weird of them like finding out later, like whatever happened to. They'd have to find out what happened to Ethan. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because otherwise, I don't know how they'd find him. So it'd be like that'd be kind of weird moment. I feel like there'd have to be some kind of connection. Like, yeah, guys, it's been great working with you, kind of thing. If they're gonna do it that way, there has to be some kind of connection that you can't just like die alone.
yeah.
Then it'd be a little it'd be depressing for what the movies are.
Right. That's fair. That's a
Yeah.
fair point. I will say though, like Kittredge and Briggs found him. They
Yeah,
just
that's true.
I don't know how the hell that happened. Again, another thing that you just don't ask too many questions. It's a movie, whatever. They found him.
Yeah. I just accept it because they're all like they're spies. So like I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
They got
Got
taps
tabs
in on
on him
everybody. Yeah.
somehow. Yeah. All right. Next, we got our favorite scene. What was your favorite scene?
So mine's actually the underwater scene. You know,
Okay.
like you're saying it was kind of long, but
It was
I
still good.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was still
yeah.
good
No, for
for
sure.
sure.
I saw that there was two composers for it. So Max Aru and Alfred Goffrey. And again, I hope I'm saying their name right here, but I gotta shout them out too because like I watched it in IMAX and like you know you can really feel like the tension. I mentioned like the dread when Ethan is going through like when he's just like first of all when he's just plunging into the water and then he finally gets into the sub and it like that dark feeling kind of made me feel like a Denis movie. Like I don't know, like
Mm.
oh like when you think of like Prisoners and like Sicario, like his movies have like this element of like not horror, but like this like the tension and the dread of like oh snap, like something's wrong, like this like and like yeah, I feel like you don't really get that much in the Mission Impossible. A lot of the stunts are pretty much like out in the open, like it's bright, it's light, and this was just like it had a different tone, and I don't know like the music that was because it's pretty like he's not really talking, he's just it's
Yeah,
pretty
there's no
silent for the
talking.
most
It's
part.
just
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
hear the stuff banging around, the water splashing, and the
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
So then that's how I really know you really notice the music because it's like oh that's all I can really hear is just what the sounds that I'm hearing. So I really like the scene because of that. And like I felt like they kept piling on more problems from like the ship like you mentioned like the ship was moving, rotating, and it's like the simple things like the missile like when he was trying to go through the door like it was good when it was underwater and then when the water flipped now the missile's there because before like it's like that little simple thing of like oh yeah when something's underwater you can like perfectly move it because like you have the water to push it and then when it switched now it's just a missile sitting there. It's like, oh damn, I can't move that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's like a smart little obstacle to get in his way. And yeah, him just the fact that he had, and even like they added him getting stuck too. Like his suit got stuck on the thing, and it's like, oh, here's another problem.
Yep.
And then like him getting out of that, it was just it took me back honestly to when you have those IMAX experiences like back at the museum. Like that's what like
Oh
IMAX was
yeah.
originally created for. Like when you see like you go to IMAX, you go to museum and you go in the room, you see like a space thing or you see like a under the sea kind of thing. And it kind of made me kind of think of that because that's one of the things they used to have, the under the sea experiments at under the sea experience at IMAX. And it kind of made me think of that. So like I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah. No, it is really good. I mentioned how I thought it was a little longer maybe than it needed to be, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I understand why they made it so long. Like it really they want you to feel what he's feeling, and it's
Yeah.
not like he would have been quickly in and out, right? So they
Yeah.
want you to feel like the weight and the length of like this is a hard job. It's taking him a long time, so they want you to experience that with him. Um,
Mhm.
it's a good point you made about like most of the stunts are normally obviously above ground in the open,
Yeah.
and then it'll have the main theme playing mostly like the bum
Yeah.
bum, and it feels like juiced and action and like fun almost. Whereas this one
Mhm.
was more like bum bum, like much more
Yeah,
lower and
exactly.
like dread is a good word, right? And
Yeah.
it's dark and it really puts us in that situation. And you're right, a lot of stuff goes wrong. Like when he opens up the first torpedo tube and there's one in there. So he's like, well, I
Yeah.
can't use this one. I got to open up another one. And like there was just constant obstacles that he had to go through. And there was no lines, there was no talking. There was the jump scare with the two bodies. And
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot in the scene. It was really good. Totally agree.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. What about you though? I'm curious, what was your favorite scene from the movie?
Mine was actually the team getting the coordinates on the island.
Okay.
I talked about how I saw there was a lot of different ways that it could go. Again, this is a
Hmm.
Mission Impossible movie. I know that they're gonna get the job done, but how are
Hmm.
they gonna get the job done? Like the reveal when Donlo pulls up. That was first of all, that was like, oh shit, it's
Yeah.
Donlo. That's from the first one. That I
Yeah.
like that. And then the reveal of the Russians, right? So there, I was like, okay, they're gonna get their coordinates. You know, everything's cool. Then the Russians are there, and then we're like, oh snap, they can't
Mm.
tell them why they're here, even
Yeah.
though they kind of know why they're here, but they don't know that Ethan's in position to go and get this stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and the Russians have all the control, right? They have their weapons. These guys don't have any weapons on them. So I was like, how are they going to get into this? We get a solid fight. We talked about the fight. The
Yeah.
fight was good. Paris gets to kick some ass, and the light skinned dude gets to kick some ass. I also liked the little back and forth with Benji and like the Russian leader, where they were like they're kind of negotiating. They're like, no, 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 tell us like we want to destroy the entity and everything. And he says, "Would you believe me if you were me? Would you believe that?"
Yeah.
And they and he said no. And then the same thing on the other side. He was like, "Would
Yeah.
you
They
believe
flip.
me?" And
Yeah.
when you're in this like spy space, it makes sense, right? Like you know that people are going to be lying to you. You know that they're like the Russians versus the Americans. That's not like you guys aren't on the same side. In this
Yeah.
situation, you kind of are. You're both trying to destroy the same mutual enemy, but
Hmm.
still, you're not just going to blindly trust them. So I like that that was in there.
Exactly.
Um, and then Donlo memorizing the coordinates, like and delivering them in the Morse code, like while the building's burning. It was just there was a lot going on. I like
Yeah.
the scene.
No, it's a really good scene. I agree too. It is like a little good. Because I like how they added that in too. Like that's still that element of tension between like the Americans and the Russians, where it's just like, yeah, it'd be too much for them just to easily be like, you know what, let's just team up.
Right.
It's too much of a movie thing. It adds a little bit another layer of just like realism, where it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's true. I wouldn't trust you. You wouldn't trust me. It's like, I don't know what your angle is here. Like we're both trying to do our thing for our country, so I don't know. I'm not gonna fall for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, so not last, we got our MVP award, and I'm gonna term this our honorary SGA MVP
Oh yeah,
award because it was
yeah,
announced
yeah,
that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander
yeah,
is
yeah.
the
Shout out
NBA
Shay.
MVP, Canadian. Shout him out.
Shout out.
So I don't think this will be like the S. We won't do it like the six man where like this is the
Yeah,
award, but
but just to shout
just
it
for
out,
this one,
just for the yeah,
because
because
this one you got awarded. So
just happened.
who's your MVP?
So my MVP goes to Tom Cruise. So I mean, like he's a legend. The funny thing is, I wouldn't even say he's like in my like one of my favorite actors in the sense, but it's just I just enjoy seeing him on the screen. Like to me, he's like the Tom Brady of movies. Like for most people, like I don't like it's one of those things where like most people don't like the Patriots. Obviously, they didn't like them, but like you just recognize the greatness
Mm,
and his ability to push the limits of filmmaking, like with his stunts. It's like I think that's where the appreciation for Tom Cruise comes with that, and like his dedication. Like like he works with like I saw him saying like he works with like every department. They take their time with the movie. It kind of makes me think of the just like any like artists, you know what I mean? Like the artists that only drop like every 2 years kind of thing, like with their music and stuff like that. Like he's gone to this point too where he's just like, I want to make the movie good. Like I want this to be enjoyable. It's not just like a cash grab. Like obviously they're trying to make money.
mhm.
Like the whole thing, it's a business. So it is what it is. But like you hear him talk. He loves movies. He loves doing these stunts. He loves doing it. Like it's about the art and the craft for him. Like he just loves and like just get like I want the best person doing the score. I want the best writers. I want to get the great stars around me and all that stuff. So I just appreciate the efforts. And I did see like a funny a story about like development from the last movie that I wanted to point out too, where he's talking about like how during COVID, I don't know if you saw this story, how like he kind of finessed his way into like getting the other movie made. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
No. So during COVID, they weren't like obviously there was a shutdown, like people weren't making movies. So like he was trying to convince the studio, like, oh, let's make the Mission Impossible, let's do this, whatever. And they're like, nah, man, like nobody's making movies. So then he started calling other studios and he's like, you guys making movies? And like, no, we're not making movies. He's like, oh, really? He's like, oh, we're making movies actually.
Oh,
We're actually making Mission Impossible right now. He's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, we got everything set up to the
yo.
whatever it is. And then like he hung up with them. Then he called them back. He's like, "So how did you guys start making movies?" He's like, "Yeah, no, yeah, we started making movies. We're doing all the things. We got everyone on set wearing masks and all that stuff." And he's like, "All right, cool, cool." And then he went back to his studio and he called them. He's like, "Yo, the other studios are making movies. Why aren't we making movies?"
Yo, that's
I was
hilarious.
like, "Yo, that's crazy."
You finesse them. That's insane. That's so funny.
I had to tell us. I had me dying when I heard him say it. He said that on the Pat McAfee show. I'm like, yo, that's
What
awesome,
a
bro.
piece of shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know. The ultimate finesser.
That's amazing.
Ultimate finesser.
I love that.
Absolutely hilarious.
I did not see that. That's so funny.
But yeah, no, he gets my MVP just because. I think he's great in the movie. He's the star
Yeah.
of this whole franchise. And I think he was just as good as he is in this movie as the other ones, just with the things he does in the stunts and just his intensity. But yeah, just it's almost like a legacy award.
Yeah, I
for
was
him
gonna say
too,
this
even though
is
he's not.
this is the same thing as kind of like what I did with Luther, like
Yeah,
legacy award. Like he's got to get one.
100%. But what about you? Who'd you give your
Mine
MVP?
is Tom Cruise.
A
Yeah, everything you said,
cool.
like you said, his dedication, he's pushing the envelope. That story is incredible. But for me, it's a big legacy award again. Like I feel like it's almost sinful to have back-to-back Mission Impossible episodes, and neither of us gave him his MVP last week.
MVP. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so to have back-to-back Impossible episodes and not giving him an MVP because he is the MVP of this franchise.
Yeah.
He's in every single movie. He's producing them at this point. It's a lot of the stunts and stuff. He's like, no, I want to do more, bigger, better. Like
Yeah.
it is him. He is the MVP, of
Yeah.
course. So we couldn't. I couldn't not give it to
Yeah.
him for this.
That's
one.
how I felt too.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt too.
I was like, I
I'm just
couldn't not.
There's no way. I
We'd
can't
lose
give
all
him MVP.
credibility as movie fans if we didn't give him one of two MVPs. Yeah,
100%.
the stunts were awesome, especially to me, the biplane. Like he's literally hanging off of a freaking plane at 60
no, it's
years old.
insane.
He's
That's insane.
insane. Yeah, he's the MVP. He has to be.
No, yeah, just flat out. I know it's just we're debating whether things we do it. He did them both.
Yeah, 100.
It's like
Exactly.
it's like which one would you rather do? Like we're late 20s. This guy's in his 60s. Like I'll do you better. I'll do them both.
I'll do them both. Yeah, exactly. After doing 7 more movies of doing ridiculous stunts,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna continue, and he's gonna do more. Like he's like we both talked about. He wants to go to 100 making action movies. So like, is he just gonna start a different franchise, Mission Improbable, or is he gonna, or is he gonna like? I don't think this is gonna be the last one. He's addicted to making action movies, and yeah, he could do a different kind of action movie, but why would you when you can you have this character that can get into any situation possible? You've already built the perfect premise to do all the
Yeah.
crazy stunts you want to do. Why do anything different?
No, 100%. This guy said he wanted to go into space. He wanted to shoot a movie in space.
Yeah, and I
know.
believe it.
I believe
$1
it.
billion
too. I'm just like-
budget.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's gonna be so expensive.
Yeah,
To get those people out there, but hey, just for like one scene too.
yeah. I don't know.
Just for him
You
to
think it'll be one
space, just for
scene?
him to spacewalk.
He'll probably have to jump off of. Here's what's gonna happen. He's gonna have to go up to a satellite and get a computer chip, and there's gonna be the whatever way to get up to space. They can't do the same thing coming down, so he's just gonna have to fucking halo jump from out of the atmosphere.
You know what the worst part about it is too? It's like you go up there and then like you plan it all out. You get up there and then you're like, lighting wasn't great.
The sun was in my eyes. God damn.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, I know it didn't turn out the best, but I guess we got to rock with it.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing about that one is like you get out there and it's not like a weather conditioning.
Well, actually, I was gonna say though, like that actually might be better in that sense, where if you're above the atmosphere or whatever, like there's no, it's not going to be cloudy, it's going to be like, what, if you calculate, if we go up from this spot on Earth, the sun's going to be in this position and the moon's going to be in that position. So we can, I'm sure I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
No, there's a lot of planning. Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into it for sure. But yeah, I'm curious the thought process and like how you'd go about doing it.
No idea. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. But hey, great MVP. We had the same MVP.
Yep. Certified.
Fun. Yeah, certified. Fun I actually experienced. I want to thank everyone for listening. If you what's it called? If you want to be part of the conversation, you follow us on social media, on Instagram, TikTok at the Film Room Pod, the Film Room Podcast on YouTube. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. And again, if you want to join the conversation, we have the polls. That's how we have the family meeting. We put a little poll in our Instagram stories. Where you want to give us a rating or a rating or a review, we'll read it on the podcast. We've done that in the past. And we're actually ranked number 999 because I got to shout out Jade Parker. She actually gave us a 5-star rating. She didn't give a review, but she gave a 5-star rating. I noticed that was a number there. And then she mentioned, she was like, oh, I give you guys a 5-star rating. So got to shout out. Appreciate it for giving the 5-star. I think it was a Spotify. I don't know. I didn't see if it was Spotify or Apple, but I know she gave us a 5-star review. So shout outs for that.
And you can
do you have any? Yeah, exactly. Do you have any final thoughts?
Any final reckonings?
Any final reckonings?
No final reckonings for me.
No final reckonings for you.
John Wick next week.
Yeah, John Wick next week. Yeah, we're gonna do John Wick 1, and then the week after we're gonna do Ballerina. Usually we don't have them like mapped out. Like sometimes we're just kind of deciding what movies we want to do like on the fly. But just because we know that we're gonna watch Ballerina, we already have those kind of set up. So John Wick, Ballerina, go get excited. Go do a little marathon. You got some time.
It's the action
movie comes out in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's
action,
basically. Action. Love it, man. Love it. With that being said, we do this podcast in the shadows for the ones that we hold close and for those that we've never met. Peace out.
Peace out.